I'm having trouble not playing Breath of the Wild right now. That's what
It
I
was like
played.
a few months away now, man. The
All
new
right,
one.
what's up, everybody? TriLink, see you in the chat. Just Retro and I are just gonna talk about what we've been playing while we wait for T and Terrell and maybe Robert. But yeah, I played Cyberpunk on like was it Thursday night, Friday night? I did some really cool side missions the last few times I played, and like one was really good, involved like a kidnapping and this fucking twisted ass storyline, and but it's just the gameplay is. I mean, it's not terrible. I'm getting used to the shooting, but I'm gonna be like honest with you. The shooting to me isn't much better than GoldenEye 007 when we played Saturday, trying to use the dual analog hack for a Switch. They're not great. It's not. It doesn't get in the way, but it's so like. It's so like I don't know what the word is. It's so far back from like what like you're used to from a dual analog first person shooting mechanics. It's obviously not the focus of the game. It's not a detriment, I guess, but it's not a highlight either. So it's just I do the combat. If you can sneak around, you can get some stealth kills. But the actual story in the world's interesting enough to keep me going. But that being said, I played way more Breath of the Wild this weekend than I played Cyberpunk. So I played Saturday morning until we a few of us played N64 Online. Some of us didn't show up. Won't name any names, but um, we played at like 4, and from like noon to 4, I was playing Breath of the Wild on PC. I'm continuing my PC save file. I got up to 72 shrines, and I visited Hyrule Castle, and just had a fucking blast. Like I forgot how long it takes to like go through Hyrule Castle, and
It's a great place
I
to
waited
explore,
till a
man. There's
blood
so many
moon.
secrets.
I waited till right after the blood moon to go, so I didn't have to worry about fighting enemies over. And of course, it's raining half the time, so I couldn't really climb on the outside. And I was like, man, I think the Hylian Shield's up in Zelda's tower, and I go up there. No, it's not up here. And I was like, wait a minute, is that the thing in the basement in the cellar? So I had to try to remember how to get down there. I finally found a spot with like a to the right. There was a shaft that went way far down, and I was just like, man, that shit was the music is so good.
So good.
Hyrule Castle, and then I still got
You know, these
my
bookshelves you can move around and stuff
yeah.
with secret passages. It's so good.
I killed I think every enemy inside, and I was just kind of looking for the cookbooks, the little the recipes, the royal weapons and stuff, and it's like I still have my shield parry timing perfect. Like I was down to like one heart, and I got started getting targeted by one of the non-moving ones, and I was like, man, I'm just gonna hold my ground. Cha-ching! Fucking one try, got it. My first time doing it in probably years, and then I just was wrecking them. I had it down. I think a couple times I was too early or too late, and it takes out your shield. But man, and then I did the Master Sword trials. I did the 2 of the 3, and did some more exploration. I was like, man, this game is just it's so. I'm on PC with the Pro controller. Now they added gyro and everything directly to the emulator, so you just plug it in and you go to Wii U. You select the Wii U gamepad because that has gyro, and then you just pick the Switch Pro controller, and it works. You just toggle gyro on and off, and then go into the menu, obviously, of the game and turn it on, and it works. Absolutely perfect. And so yeah, that was good times. Also, like I said, we played some N64 online. Only I don't know if T's all set to talk about that, but it was interesting. Terrell, I don't think we didn't share it in the chat. So with me and T, perfect. With me and Robert, perfect. With me, T and Robert, it was good. It wasn't the signal dropped 1 bar, and then clocked it with anybody was the music was playing. It was about, I would say, 15 frames per second the whole time.
Oh no.
So the music plays in slow motion. So it's doom 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 doom. Like the Bond theme is that slow, and it's like it's playable because it's the same for everybody, and it was fun. But yeah, it sucked that the overseas connection really tanked it. And so we kind of, for a little bit, it was just me and T messing around. And it was Robert and Clocked It trying different games. We tried a little bit of F-Zero, Mario Kart. One quick match of win back that was not my favorite. GoldenEye, little wave race, and
Win back was a disaster.
yeah, that game is jank, man. Because you aim and then I forget what button you hold to aim, and then you brings up your reticule, and then you use the left stick to aim, and my left thumb is not used to aiming. Like, I'm used to moving forward and back, so I was struggling. But overall, I say I had fun. And T, after you left, me, Clocked It, and Robert played. We were like, oh, we'll just play one match. I bet we played like 5 or 6. And we were like, oh, one more. But we played just the 5 points, tried all the different maps and the weapons. And I gotta say, I won every match. For the guy who hasn't played his N64 in 20 years, or GoldenEye, between me, Clocked It, and then Robert, it was
come on.
It was one-sided. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, Clocked It has an excuse. Robert hasn't played the game. So
yeah.
Don't.
I wasn't expecting to lose to a guy who plays N64 still, like every time, like at least a few times a month still to this day. So it would be nice if the connection was better though. And but overall, I thought it was fun. I want to play more, honestly. Even with the slow effect, it's still, with all 4 of us, it was unplayable, I feel. But with
sadly.
Yeah,
forward to that.
With Clocked It, once he left, it was pretty good with just me, and Robert. But it does suck that that those default controls are a little less than what's the word, ideal for people, especially for someone like Robert. I feel like he was doing okay. He might get 1 kill, but it's a pretty big change for him from what he's used to. So
right.
I mean, it's not just that. Like, I said it in the chat as well. Like, I played GoldenEye my entire teen years with my friends, with my brothers, death matches. I unlocked fucking everything, every difficulty and stuff. I tried playing it by myself a little bit. I was sitting there for like 10 minutes. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand these controls. It's so counterintuitive these days. It makes no sense. They didn't just add that dual analog stuff. Like, I legit couldn't figure it out. After 10 minutes, I was like, fuck it, I'll go play something else.
Especially with it'd be one thing if you could map the C buttons to the face buttons, so that you replicate that same feel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping.
But
that they would.
You would have to really go into the customization options and really like figure out how to do that. Like in the Switch menu, which would change all your buttons for the everything else. But you'd have to you can go to the home menu out of the game, do the controls, and then go back straight into the game.
Yeah, because the only thing you would need, if you take this, face buttons and make them the arrow buttons, the only thing you need is swapping your weapon. You can put
like
that on the
left,
D-pad.
or you could put the LB or something. The left L and R.
Because you have access to it. It's not like the N64 controller where you don't have access to the
D-pad would be fine for switching weapons. Reloading. You could have like the right click in or something. Honestly, though,
my main problem because I was using N64 with a USB adapter, so it allowed me to use my N64 controller. But when I did that, it swapped my A and B buttons for some odd reason, and I couldn't adapt to that. And I wasn't using the original N64 controller. I was using a third-party kind of deal, and the analog stick on that is not as snappy. It's crazy that nobody's been able to replicate that kind of.
But when it was me and you play, I think you won.
I started to get it. That's what I think. I just have to play. I'm gonna have to play through the whole thing, and I'll probably, I can readjust to those issues I was having. But
yeah, with everything going on, I think we had some close. A couple of them where we both had like 4 points, and whoever got the next kill. So yeah, it is I think it's a shame though because it is so fun, like the split screen
Yeah, it's still very
to
fun.
not go in and just add some code and have it be like we'll just add this one dual stick control scheme that because I think it
Because they
would
did it
really
on the Microsoft side. Like
yeah I don't know
clearly,
if they could have had asked them, hey, can you guys share that with us? Maybe they asked, I don't know, but at the same time, because it literally would, because the game is fun and it's, but if someone's struggling fighting the
it's still
controls,
as fun, which surprised me. Multiplayer. I was like,
we had
this is still pretty much as fun as it used to be.
I set the proximity mines, the remote mines. I'm sitting there laying mines up in the corner,
Yeah.
waiting for Clocked and Robert to come in
We're
and
just cracking up, waiting.
killing their ass. Like it all come back, and I think
Suicides is still hilarious. It's great.
and it's like you basically alienated
Wait,
a
that
lot of
sounded
people.
really bad. Suicides in the game.
Yeah,
Suicides are great.
but I feel like it just unnecessarily gonna alienate a bunch of people that would normally like put some time into playing the game.
That's why I made that tweet, and some people were like, "Oh, you gotta old controls only." Well, I'm like, well, that's great for me, and it's really not great yet, but that's great for people like me who have played the game and remember it that way. But for a game that I consider one of my favorite games of all time, certainly one of my favorite N64 games, like I want people to play it and have fun and not have to be, fighting with the controls because it's a great game still.
Yeah, because Robert resorted to just using the left stick, not even trying to stray for aim, and that's why he's struggled against me and Clocked It and T.
A big problem with that is just also the controller layout. The N64 controller is like it was like made for James Bond. It was super intuitive. It just doesn't work on like current day controllers.
And believe it or not, T, I was surprised. It made sense when you said it because that's how I played MDK2 on the Dreamcast, using the face buttons to move.
I don't think you had a choice, did you?
And the left stick to aim and turn.
Yeah.
I never with GoldenEye. I played with the default 1.1, so it was moving forward and back and turning with the left stick. In the right, the C buttons were strafing and aiming up and down, and I was playing inverted, so you press down to look up, and then left strafe. And I had it down back then, but that's a pretty big change to any other type of game I've played since. So for me, I was doing okay with that at first. And what's up, Sandstorm? Thanks for joining.
Yo.
Do you have the expansion pass?
I just hold on. I had to switch on my mic. That was not the right mic. I just fell out of expansion, so
man, we could have got another person unless there wasn't room. We could have added.
Yeah,
Sandstorm.
I was actually excited to.
Not worth re-upping? Is that what you're saying?
Oh no! It definitely is, but you gotta when you buy every game, you gotta make sure that your money's right before you.
I don't know that to me, other than GoldenEye, for me it wouldn't be. It'd be like a Game Pass thing. Get it for a month, get some nostalgia in me, get that out of my system. I'd probably be good, but I wouldn't mind GoldenEye being an option for like a game night or something. So I'm glad we have it, but I don't. Based on the current lineup of games, the Genesis games I feel is weak as hell. Like
a waste of time.
Waste of money. It's a waste of...
Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is the only, and then Sonic Spinball, which was that the pinball game?
Yeah, it's the pinball game.
I thought it was just called Sonic Pinball, but
no, it's pinball because of course
because he spins.
Spin dash, baby.
What else? Streets of Rage 2.
Streets of Rage 2. Nothing. No 1 or I think there's a 3.
Oh, yeah, no, there is 3.
I played 2, and I will say, as far as beat 'em ups
go, it only has 2.
Yeah.
What kind of bullshit?
I will say it's a very tight, solid beat 'em up. I played the first chapter.
Oh, that to me, Streets of Rage 2 is infinitely playable. I'll be playing that when I'm in my 80s.
Honestly,
legend.
I think that's the first time I played it in my life. Was last week.
Really?
Yeah. Nintendo Switch Online.
That's a good game.
How do you exist?
None of my friends that had the Genesis had any of those games.
What are they doing with their Genesis?
My one buddy had.
Aladdin.
My one buddy, we played
FIFA
FIFA 94, FIFA 94, Sonic Spinball, and the Jurassic Park Genesis game. And my other buddy had like Desert Strike and like a realistic X-Men.
That's not bad.
It was like a more realistic looking X-Men game.
Was it this one?
Can it show?
I don't know. I'd have to see the visuals, but yeah, you can play as Gambit. So
Which one is
probably.
that? I think I have.
Yeah, I think it is. It's the one where it's like you're in the danger room or whatever. And
Oh
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
But yeah. So I tried Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and I did not remember the fact that if you're on a hill, Sonic jumps. You can't jump forward on a hill. His momentum takes.
You can, but you have to hit the very apex of the hill. Like
yeah,
it's momentum based.
I was trying to get up, just do simple stuff, and I was like, I'm so like.
Don't tell me you were struggling with Sonic. Come on.
I mean, I got past the first level, but I'm saying I wasn't used to being on a hill. I just wanted to jump forward, and he kept jumping backwards. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I didn't understand that's what was happening. I was just doing something wrong at first.
Physics, man.
It's physics. The new games
Bad
don't
physics.
have it. The old games have it.
But
physics with an X.
If you're on a hill, you're standing like this on a hill, and you jump.
You're gonna go
yeah,
backwards.
but I mean, you could actually jump forward on a hill. It's not like you can't jump forward.
Yeah, but when you're leaning, your body's like this. You're leaning back. You're gonna definitely jump back.
Yeah, it's harder to jump
gravity.
forward. Yeah, gravity's gonna take your ass out.
Actually, I also tried Contra Hard Corps for I never even heard of that game. I don't think.
What?
Like she's about to pull out his
It was
drink.
really-
Do it.
It was
God.
quite hard though,
What?
so I didn't get past.
That's what they call it. It's hardcore.
The original Contra to me is like.
Well,
the
yeah, it's still
landmark.
the best. But Contra Hardcore is so over the top, crazy explosions. Is one of my favorite. And like the graphics were at the time, especially, were freaking amazing, man. Like, there's a level when you're running down a highway and shit. And there's a giant fucking robot coming behind you. It was that's.
I noticed there was a lot of going on screen.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in that game.
But yeah,
Constantly.
Robert's here now. What was your thoughts on GoldenEye on the N64 Online?
It was fun, man. We kept saying one more game.
That's when you know you're having a good time.
Yeah.
You know,
They just
and especially because real quick he put it like to 5 kills, so it was like he would kind of win like really fast.
Well, that's what you want to do, though. You don't want to drag it too long, or it's
No,
not,
for
it's
sure.
not fun anymore.
I want to try the different
it
weapon.
is funny. I there's still certain things where I was like, I was like, yeah, how do I open these walls that I've ever seen? He's like, what do you mean? Just
The
It's like
doors
opening
is
the
open
door,
for
man.
me.
'Cause I felt like I
Right.
pressed it. I didn't think it went. It's sometimes you have to go like really like against it. It's a little
Yeah.
strange.
And that's what
I
was
know
throwing me
spikes.
off too, because it was like, again, my buttons were flopped, my B and A, and so I'm like trying to open the door and I switch a weapon. I'm like,
Oh
kept
yeah.
happening.
And plus, it was the non-inverted controls because that's how I had it set up
Yeah.
for the single player, and so it affected everybody. So I gotta give Clocked it some credit too.
Non-inverted. Well, I mean, isn't it that's good?
Well, the
though.
default's inverted, so T and red.
Oh yeah,
or,
I wouldn't be able to play that way.
T and
Oh, you
Clocked
like
it
to
are
play
used to the
inverted.
inverted, I believe, unless
And on for the
Yeah.
name is inverted.
an upright is the other
Is
option.
inverted like what's
we call-
normal today?
No.
Or is
we,
normal-
no. We
Okay,
call
okay.
it inverted, but everywhere else calls it that's just
Normal.
regular, right?
Yeah,
Normal,
but-
yeah.
No, because inverted
We're
means
special.
We're Americans, so we're special. So
No.
Oh, you don't call
you
it-
guys are doing it wrong, okay?
No, I'm sure.
That's
I'm sure.
inverted.
Maybe
It's
maybe
not
a
considered
long time
inverted
ago, but
over
if
in
you go
Europe?
if you go on in Europe, I'm sure if you were to go like inverted, it's inverted
I remember in the past when there were games.
in the
like,
past. Yeah, I
and
know.
like
yeah.
like what now is inverted was normal.
Yeah.
When they started calling it inverted, it confused me. I'm pretty sure it wasn't called inverted in the past.
No.
But it makes
No.
no sense. Like you pull your head back, you look up. So you pull the joystick back, like you pull your head back,
No,
you look
that's-
up. Like that's
No,
normal.
okay,
That's
but
makes
inverted.
sense.
That sounds
this
terrible.
Is the way I
Yeah.
see it, retro. See how you're not putting your head back. You're putting your head up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Up.
pulling
You're
your
looking
neck,
up,
your
you're
neck
not
back, you
looking-
look
I'm
up.
not pulling. No.
You're
but
not pulling your
also
head down,
moving
you're
your
looking
eyes
up.
up.
You do-
You're
no.
moving your eyes up.
What do you do in a plane?
Yeah, but
what I
that's
was gonna
different
say.
because you
That's
pull
what I
back.
was gonna say.
That's what
Even-
the thinking
no,
was with video
even-
games.
Yeah, I get why they
Even
thought
with planes,
that.
I still do like up and down. To be fair, like
No,
if
no.
it's- I'm going down.
If
I'm
you
going
did it
down.
in a plane, you crash because that's not how it
Because
works.
you pull back. You pull back.
I don't know
Go back
how
to
to play
go up.
video games.
Here's
You
what's
pull-
crazy is
forward,
if as soon as I play a flying game, I always pull back. Unless it's a flying game,
Yeah,
which
you're
gives
not wrong.
you
Yeah, that's true,
shooting,
that's true.
aiming to the right stick, then it needs to be up to look
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true about that. And I guess that's how they figured, you know,
Is that how Call of
First
Duty
person
plays? Isn't it down is up is down?
for what? Like
Call
the
of Duty.
camera?
Yeah.
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 That's what I thought. Yeah, that used to be inverted. That wasn't normal control.
Down is up was
No.
hold on.
Call of
No,
Duty
down
up
to look
looks
up,
up,
it's-
down looks
Yeah.
down.
Up looks up and down
Yeah.
looks
No,
down.
up looks up and down looks down.
That's normal controls.
That's not normal.
Uh,
Yeah, it is.
That's normal.
That's normal for us.
In
Yeah.
your first person view, if you're like with your eyes, if you're
That's-
saying I'm going to look down and you put up, you're a little strange. That doesn't
No,
make
no,
any
no.
sense.
They're looking at it like you're controlling something. So if you
Your
pull
eyes,
down,
you're controlling someone's eyes. You're controlling
that's what I was
eyes.
thinking. If
you're
you're
controlling a
controlling the
person.
eyes, I don't wanna push up to look up. That feels weird to me.
But did you just see the movement you just did? You're looking. You just said, I don't want to look up. What is this? That's up.
Yeah, but I would push downward in a downward motion to look up.
You're not a plane. I don't know.
It's just
You're a
natural.
human
Like
being with
Retro
eyes.
said, I'm
You're a human
controlling.
being with eyes that goes like this.
I'm controlling the head.
So-
I'm controlling the head. If you
I'm
grab
just
somebody's
here.
hair, if you grab somebody's hair and you're like,
Yeah, but
I
you're
want you
not
to look up,
pulling-
You don't push forward. You push
You're not-
up.
you're not- there's not a stick in the back of
what
their
you're
head.
controlling in a first person game, what you are controlling is their eyes.
Wait, okay,
And so
here's the mic
And the
drop.
gun, you're making the
Pretty
gun
much
go
the
up.
rest of the world
Well, I mean,
feels that
yeah,
way. That inverted is the regular way. Pretty much the rest of the
No,
world.
no, no.
It's
Even
only
Retro
us.
said, even
Just
Retro said,
American.
even Retro
Robot.
said,
Robot,
Russia
do you
said it's
think,
not the case.
Robot, you're just saying in a first-person shooter, you're controlling your eyes. You think soldiers on the battlefield, they're looking like this?
Yeah, but the thing is, you're not controlling their eyes or their head. You're controlling the gun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're technically
there you go.
controlling. You're technically controlling.
you can pull your body back and stuff.
Yeah.
There's not a
Okay, but
stick
Ross,
on the back of your
gun is
head.
pointing up.
All right.
So-
So if you're holding a gun and you push it at the top, it goes down. Because
Push
that's the
what at the
up.
top?
That's the up button, right? You push. So you're holding a gun like this. You're holding it up, right?
Yeah.
Here it is. Here's my gun. I'm holding it up.
Right, yeah,
If
yeah.
I push the top arrow button, I'm going this way.
Yeah, it should go
If I push
down.
the bottom one, I'm going up that way. That's
Yeah.
the thinking. I mean, it
I,
makes sense.
I get the thinking, but I'm
Look-
telling you, that's
Well, that's what you're used to. That's
I can kind of see Robert's mind
It's
being
what you're
blown
used
a
to.
little bit.
well. Let me ask this question then, you guys.
But I think it's obvious.
So do you press
the
left to
counter-argument
look
is-
right?
Is if you're moving the gun up, you're moving it up, and if you're moving the
No.
gun down, you're moving the gun down.
No, because that's different. That
No,
is
it isn't, because if you got to stick to a gun to go to the right, you have to pull to the left.
different. If you're
I'm
turning,
enjoying
if,
myself.
if you're
Yes,
if you're,
altitude and latitude are different. They're two different things.
yeah.
No way.
And if you're sidestepping, you pull the control to the right. If you want to sidestep right, you pull the
Yes.
control to
Yeah,
the
but
left.
what about
Exactly.
aiming? What about
So
looking
then if you're
left?
going to,
But that's not direct aiming of the actual
Can't believe we were
gun.
arguing
That's
about this.
aiming. That's aiming of the whole body. Whereas up and down is aiming of the actual gun.
yes, because you're aiming up.
So when you
I'm going
aim
to speed that up.
left, you press to the right.
You turn the whole body left. You don't just turn the gun left. You turn the whole body left. You turn the whole body right.
You don't have to, man.
When you aim up,
You can't
You
go
ain't
like
gotta
this.
do that,
You can't
dog.
go like
up
this.
and
You
down.
ain't got to do that, man.
I mean, in real life, if we talk about real life, then it's different.
Yeah, but
in
I'm
a
saying,
game-
how does your
Well,
brain
muscles are
compute?
different. That's what
How
it
does
is.
your brain compute pressing left to aim left and pressing down to aim up? Like that's
It doesn't even make sense to me.
Because that's
body,
basic
body
physics.
versus aim. Body versus aim.
So,
You
so
know?
I will say, you know who
Clearly it works
plays,
for us, and it
you know
doesn't
who
work.
plays,
for you.
you know who plays inverted. You want to know who plays inverted though?
It's that
is,
simple.
is my stepdad because he's played since like the NES, you know. So for him, inverted is normal for him. He always has to change the thing and go inverted. And he's always. And I remember when I thought that was like I was the weird one. I was like, oh shit, this is like
You
I
are the
remember
weird one.
when we first no because I remember when we first started playing like I remember first started playing Modern Warfare 2 like when I was younger, and then it was always inverted. I had to try to get used to it. But then I realized there was an option to turn it to normal, and then and then you go, and it's just funny because yeah, it's true that like once you hit, I feel like the GameCube, Xbox, PS2 era, that's when they started changing to like normal.
I think Gears
that
Gears of War was the
inverted
first
is-
one
is-
I did.
is- that's what I've noticed, and then because anything before that, there's also a lot of times where they don't even have the option. Where, you know, like Luigi's Mansion, GameCube. To be fair,
GameCube,
that's
almost
inverted,
no
you
games
know?
gave you the option. That's why I sold most of my GameCube games because I can't go back and play.
So you can't play Resident Evil 2, the original? You come to
Oh.
that door and you're facing at the camera. You're facing yourself. What do you do?
Rats
Yeah,
4.
I don't plan
What
on
the
that.
hell?
I don't really plan on playing the original Resident Evil 2.
Res 4, you
what
can do
about yeah, I don't know. That's you know, it is what it is. Like that's just how it changed. But like if you go on your PS4 version of Minecraft right there, I'm sure if you click normal camera, it will stay at.
You know,
up and
I
down.
wish fucking games when you boot them up, they would just ask you instantly. Because now every
Yeah,
single
to be
game
honest,
I
they
boot it
should.
up, I gotta
Yeah.
look for the options. I'm like, where is it? Is it going to be
I
in
actually would
a
agree with
game?
that.
Is it going to be in control? Like every
So
game
what do you-
puts it somewhere else.
Let's go around the clock. Go around here, because
Around
that
the
was
clock,
Go around the
baby.
clock. Nice.
when
Go
I
around
played
the clock,
Ocarina of
baby.
Time.
What time is
Or
it?
Mario
Time?
64. I mean, Mario 64. In Nintendo's mind, you're controlling Lakitu. So if you want Lakitu, if you want to look to the right, you move Lakitu to angle the camera, like in the real world. You're pressing Lakitu to the left so that so you can see to Mario's right. That's how Mario 64's controls work. And
Mario 64 is a terrible kind of example because
Yeah, it's
I think it's
bullshit.
I know,
one of the
but-
very
Not-
first,
not
I think it's one of the
necessarily.
very first games ever that used a disjointed camera. from
and
the
they still
character you could control.
to most of the N64 and into the GameCube, you press left to move the camera on a third-person game because it was like a floating camera behind the character. And I remember Gears of War being the first game I said I can't play like this. And or it was somebody my buddy and I were switching back and forth playing, and I was like, we gotta settle on one instead of constantly switching each time we go to play. Like we were literally taking turns, and so we just said screw it. And so I just said left makes me look left like in a first person shooter, and right makes me look right, up makes me look up, down makes me look down, and I've been that way ever since. So that's what I consider normal controls. Retro, what you said
That's
you
what the game industry nowadays. You're okay.
Retro, you said you go into that. What do you switch it to? Like left, right, up, and down. What?
Any game that's first person or third person, like shooter or adventure, whatever, you know. If I'm in the character or outside the camera, it doesn't matter. My y-axis needs to be inverted, you know. I need to press down to look up to look down. But left and right is normal, like T said, like the launch. It's a different fucking thing. It's not the same thing. I need to look left, you know.
There's no
But that's
changing
just
that.
what it is.
And Robert, I'm guessing
That's
you're.
interesting. That's interesting. Well, I mean, for me, obviously, I when I look down, I look up in everything.
So
when
when you
I look up, I look down.
So when you're
You know,
playing with
this-
pointer
it's-
controls, do you tilt?
Pointer
your,
controls,
do you
you
point
know,
your?
if I'm aiming the game, if I have to,
Do you have
aim
to
the
press
gun up in
down
pointer
to look
controls,
up
I gotta
with
go
the-
down, but somehow it goes up the gun, you know. But whatever.
I'm just making a joke. I get it.
Because your elbow is going up and it's going
okay,
down.
Oh, your elbow.
do
What
that
if
on
you
the
just
Wii,
move your
man. Do
wrist?
Somehow it's gonna go like
It's the
this.
flick of the wrist. Sorry.
It's
It's
a
riveting.
If you
Riveting
just do your
conversation.
wrist, the
The
back
flick
of
of the
the
wrist,
hand
baby.
is going down.
What about
what?
the? What
Your
about
back
the?
of the? Okay,
What about the
whatever.
top? Anyway, T, when it's not
Yours is going down.
Oh my god.
T, when you're not playing GoldenEye, how do you have like a Gears of War or a third person game or a first person game?
I think I can't even think about it now because I'm such a chameleon. It depends on the game. But I think when it comes to like Gears of War, maybe like Dooms, that type of shooter, I do the normal. I think that's the way I go. So it just depends. I'm weird though. It's hard to, you can't really get it from me because I like to this day, fast racing. I can't play with a pro controller. I have to play with fucking Joy-Cons, which I don't even like anymore. But I can't play that game with a pro controller because I'm so used to my fingers being so close to all those buttons to be able to switch and do all that stuff. So I'm probably not the best example.
And it
You
sounds
just
like
don't-
Sandstorm. You like to press down to look up for every game.
I mean, actually, I'm kind of like T. It really depends on the game. So, like, if we're talking most first-person shooters, yeah, I'm inverted. Down is up is down. And I would even say some third-person party game or third-person games.
Third-person
So
games,
like if you're thinking about like Zelda, if I'm using the gyro controls, I want up to be up and down to be down. I don't want those to be.
Yeah, that would
opposite.
be
It
weird
really-
in gyro. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, it really
You're
messes
literally
with my
pointing.
mind.
Your wrists
You're
are
pointing.
your wrists are
Yeah.
literally pointing down.
Yeah, but if I have it,
My
just
wrists are
to
hurt,
the,
man.
if I have it to the right stick, then it's fine. But I noticed this too because I played Infamous the other day. When I play Infamous, I want up is up and down is down. But if I play Forspoken, which is like pretty much the same game, I need down is up and up is down. So it really just depends on
Well,
how the I would say
Robert,
how the game
Robert,
works.
when you use the
Hold
gyro,
on a second.
the bottom of the controller goes down though. See?
Yeah, hold on.
See how that goes
Yeah.
down?
I didn't say it, but
It is literally it's
Actually-
like a gun, man. It's like a gun. You
Actually,
know?
it did because I just lifted up. I didn't actually move.
when I use
Anyway.
gyro, that's what I'm thinking. You know, like I'm going like this to look up. You know, like that's just what it is.
What if you
That's what
tilt
you're
it
doing
up?
literally with your analog stick. You're literally doing the same thing. You're going up.
It's
No,
different.
but
It's
I'm going
different,
backward.
Joe.
That's what I'm doing. I'm doing the backwards motion.
All right, clocked it.
Yeah,
Or
because
not
you're
clocked
going
it.
up. Whatever. It don't
Terrell.
matter.
Terrell, what's
Yes.
your default to go to?
When I look down, I'm pressing down. When I look up, I'm pressing up.
All right, so here's the one.
The
What a
normal.
peasant.
Here's the
You say, why
mind-blowing
would you-
question.
What is that?
Why am I the peasant? and We agree on the same control scheme, Robert. The fuck?
Here's the mind-blowing question. What if it's a
bet.
what if it's a light gun game and you just have a cursor on the screen to move around? Do you press
Am I using?
anybody?
am I-
Retro, if there's a
How
cursor
would
on the
go up to
screen,
this
are you
button?
pressing down to make it go up or up to make it go up?
If there's just a cursor on the screen,
I'm curious now because
I don't know because that still
look,
kind of
then
messes with me
it's a
because you know.
2D. Well, then it's a 2D plane.
If
So
one
that my
of you
thing needs
people
to go
say,
up.
how's
Well,
it
what
go
about
up?
what about
Yeah,
Star
you're-
Fox
You're
though?
pointing your reticle all over the screen.
What-
It's wherever it is on the screen. That's where you're pointing. So
What
that's
about
different
Star?
than the actual
What about
control.
Star Fox though? Because Star Fox has a reticle just like that, but I still do
Star Fox, I need
inverted.
that inverted.
but if
Yeah.
it goes with your
100%.
ship, you control your ship.
Not in
True.
Star Fox Zero.
Not-
Well, in Star
Yeah, I was
Fox
gonna say,
Zero,
first-
I had to switch. I had to make press up to aim up. But for the
Oh.
ship, I pressed down for the ship to go up.
That would have been Zero is shit.
Or
either
you've
way.
had
Also,
it in
out of
first
all
person.
this,
Oh.
out of all this, though, what I've heard is that apparently Infamous is like Forspoken. What is this about?
You bastard.
No, but hold on. Infamous, wait, hold on. Wait, Infamous Second Son?
Yeah,
Or-
second
Yeah.
The
son.
second son of
Yeah,
Infamous.
second
So
Yeah.
you're
son.
saying I'm
Yeah.
gonna really?
I heard it's
He
very
said
similar.
It's like Final Fantasy
Yeah.
15 is Second Son, so I'm apparently gonna love
Those are all
Forspoken.
his games right
I
there.
said you were gonna love Forspoken. I think you
I'll
will.
let you know.
He
in
did
2
say
years.
that. He did say that.
So Terrell, you started a game on Saturday.
I know.
How do you live like this?
I'm actually full disclosure. I'm playing it right now. Actually.
What are you playing? What are you playing?
Switch it. Switch your
Hold
screen.
Hold
What
on.
you
I
got?
can't pause in the game, Juice. Hold on.
Oh
a second.
yeah, that's so weird that you can't pause, man.
Hold on.
I felt
I'm gonna-
bad
If it was
because
on
I joined a
Switch, you'd be able to
stream.
pause.
I'm
and-
riding on a horse while trying to shift my camera. So whatever happens to me, don't judge me.
I heard
Oh,
you go to.
You're not
I heard
allowed-
if you.
You died.
I heard
You're
you
not
go to
allowed
Yeah,
to.
of course I died because I had to switch my fucking screen.
Robert, you're not allowed to suggest things for Soulsborne games. Okay? It's not
Oh
allowed.
my goodness, really?
I will say,
Good. Get good.
I don't know the
Oh,
dude's
wait.
name that was on the stream with me.
Which one? There was two.
The
of
guy
them.
that was given that had played the game, not Tyrone, who was.
Oh no! Apex is the one who played the game.
I
Tyrone
feel
was
like-
just-
I feel like he was a little too like, oh, you can't use magic. That's what lame people do. Type of personality. Like,
Yeah.
play two-handed. Like,
That's another thing.
I think you need to figure it out yourself.
That's another thing I don't like about Soulsborne is the community. They're such gatekeepers. I can't stand it. You can't do this. You shouldn't be able to do
I
that.
said, I
It's a
called him
bot-
right
it's
out.
a-
I said, bro, that's just lame. I said,
Too many gatekeepers in that community, man. I can't stand
there's
it.
Good.
different ways to play. I hope you discover your technique. Looks like you're still
That's
at
not the
Margate.
developer's intent. The
Yeah,
developer's intent.
I wasn't gonna. I actually
Yeah,
wasn't
the
gonna.
How many
developers
pause.
were
what
for
level are you?
Trying anything.
Where am I at? 20, I think. Yeah, 20.
Oh, you should be able to take him down. Did you try your
I-
spirit? Summoning your
Wait,
spirit?
what level are
No,
you?
no, no,
Juice?
no,
Like when you beat the
I
game.
haven't fought it again. I haven't fought him again since.
Juice, when you first
Saturday.
finished the game, what level were you? When you did your first
Fuck.
playthrough, like, do you
I
remember?
was like 160
oh,
something.
so you level up kind of quick then.
No,
It's
I
not
mean
like-
I couldn't beat some of the bosses until I got pretty high level because I'm
Yeah, it
weak.
depends on your willingness. To
If
Well, I
someone
guess
found
I'm-
out what
I'm
level
thinking-
I
I'm
was
thinking
when
it
I beat
compared to,
it,
like-
they'd probably try to shame me. If certain people,
Really?
I can respect the option
That's pretty dumb.
to
See,
to
like,
play in your own pace. Like,
Yeah, what the hell?
Or to play even like I can respect the whole you get more cred if you beat it without
if you
certain
beat it without
restrictions.
using summons and with lower level, hey, that's impressive. But don't tell me
Yeah,
like
do you
I'm
think
pathetic or I didn't. It doesn't count because
I mean,
You're not
Apex
allowed
didn't
to
go,
do that.
to be fair,
It's in
Apex
the
didn't go
game,
that far
but
anyway.
don't use it. It's in the game, but don't use it.
I mean, if you end up liking the dodging, no shield, that's fine. But I mean, they're both. Plus, there's the magic builds. There's also dual wielding. I think dual wielding is a better option than the weapon dual wielded because you can do major
I
damage.
play this game.
Oh, no,
just to
definitely.
do the mods.
Wait, what about the mods?
I said I just kind of want to just play the game so I can just experience all the mods.
See, I have no interest in mods in a game like
Mods
this.
don't mean anything to me. Mods only mean things if I care about the game. If I don't care about the game, I don't care about mods.
I only
Then
care
what are you saying,
about.
you don't care about the game?
I don't care
Well,
about
I mean, I
mods
just-
when
I
I'm
just
playing a
started the
game for the first time. Maybe now
Yeah,
that I'm
first
on my
time I'm
New
not
Game
playing with
Plus and finish
Yeah, for
that,
sure.
then maybe
I would
I'd
agree.
be open to it. But
I know I suck at these type of games. Like I can be honest with you, I'm trash at these games. They frustrate me in the worst way. I swear I'll break that
Terrell,
game in
press
half.
LB to. If
But-
they're on the left side of you,
I'm
it'll
right there with
swing
you.
to the left.
But if I had a
Gotcha.
thunderclap, you know what I'm saying? Shout outs to Terrell. If I had a thunderclap, you know what I'm saying?
Thunderclap. Man,
It might
shut
change
up,
the game.
Sanso. Shut up. This man said the thunderclap.
I
How
hope
dare
I hope you
bro.
play it more than just on stream because I mean I was
For
unfortunately
grinding purposes, I definitely
Doing it
will.
right now.
I didn't want to be the guy telling you everything
Although we're on
constantly,
stream.
but there's a lot of like stuff that's good to know before you get too far. Like just some simple stuff like moving your horse to your pouch so you can quickly get on the horse. I was watching somebody who was like 50 hours in. They're cycling between their health and their horse and like their summons, and it's like you can just put those on quick access.
There needs to be a
Maybe it's
trigger
back.
warning here for Robert. Like you're holding this horse and shit. Like you're gonna
Yeah.
hurt his
He's like,
eyes.
what
It's
What
funny
the
because
fuck
I
is that?
started off fighting everything on a horse, and then I realized like these guys are way easier.
Yeah, I feel
Whatever
like it
on
would
foot.
be
Fun
easier.
for you. That's how you play the goddamn.
Would
Mhm.
that character be a more carbon copy of like Breath of the Wild's like
What?
thing?
What?
I
I
forgot
mean,
what the thing is called in Breath of the Wild, the giant Cyclops thing and stuff. That thing moves exactly fucking like it.
No, it doesn't.
I think it's different. I think it's different.
I actually
Yeah.
do get. I do,
The
I do
Hinox,
see what you're saying.
the
but
Hinox
no,
has the
I'm not.
stomp, like the jump
Yeah,
up
it
butt
did
stomp,
stomp
it has a
down
foot
stuff.
stomp, and it
Yeah,
has
the foot stomp.
it has that throws
Hold
the
on.
tree.
I'm gonna show him what makes it different in a minute. Hold on.
Get
Yeah,
off
to
the
be
horse
fair,
so
like, he
he'll
didn't do any of
pull
that.
out his sword.
This
Does it
guy
have a
didn't do any of that.
laser?
He
No,
did
it
less
doesn't.
than Hinox.
There he goes.
Oh, he's got a sword.
Wait, is clocked it in here?
No.
No.
I'm
So-
seeing it on my screen.
Here we go.
Are you doing okay? Are you liking the game? I mean,
Yeah. Oh, fuck me.
you gotta
Yeah.
jump that.
That's
So-
the one I'm not as confident
I'm
about
gonna
hitting.
take a
But
picture of my screen. I'll show you.
Wait, is
Yeah,
really
he's not here.
It shows him
I
on
know
here.
he's not here. I'm
Say
just,
hello.
it's weird.
Say hello, clocked it.
Well, I know he's not here. I'm just saying it's weird. 'cause
You guys don't
But it-
hear him?
But
You
I
guys don't
see
hear
him. Hello.
You've been
You guys-
ghost at
You
it.
guys really
clocked
don't
it.
hear him?
You've been
Right
ghost
here.
at
Him
it.
at the bottom.
Oh yeah.
Freaky shit.
Yeah,
He's
he's
been
not
ghost
on
at it.
mine. That's weird.
That's so weird.
You
This
see
is the
the
beginning of a
soul
horror
of
movie.
your-
You know, one of those webcam horror movies.
Some astral projection.
He's
shit.
coming to take your soul.
And then I'm
In
gonna
case
hear,
you
we're
didn't
gonna,
know.
someone's gonna, T's gonna hear a knock on the door, and all of a sudden he's gonna disconnect. And all of a sudden, wait, guys, I think I see clocked it. And all of a sudden, I'm gonna see, get a knock on the door, that I'm gonna disconnect.
It's gonna come in with
Oh my God.
the British villain voice.
The British villain voice.
All right,
Like
so let's
the
move
Phoenix.
on. Trail's got to beat this guy first.
Hello there, Clarice.
Did
Yeah,
you
this
get your
guy's
runes?
Still, that's just a regular enemy, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
they're all
right.
over.
Jesus, that's a regular enemy. It took him like 5 minutes.
I swallow your soul.
I'm more
Can't believe
annoyed
Drew's
because
like this game. Look at all that mess.
what
man.
bothers me is
Shit.
I've beaten him. I've beaten him quicker. So
This
it
is,
irritates me.
Well, I'm
This
not
is
trying to say you're bad at that. I'm just saying, goddamn, if that's one enemy,
knows-
imagine.
that's
like,
how it looks with a storm
intense.
there. retro.
Podcast turned into a live stream of fucking.
When a storm comes in, your visibility goes down. This is how it works.
Yeah.
But
did that thing have brothers? Because I mean, the
Damn it.
Hynox has
there's
brothers.
a bunch of them. Yeah.
There's
Some that have like slightly different looks to them. Some that can
Hynox
throw
comes
elementals.
Hynox comes back as a skeleton, so there's that.
That guy's like half
Abomination.
skeleton. They have some that have elemental attacks like fire and wind. That guy has wind, and then there's like a guy that shoots magic spells at you. But anyway, I'm glad that I mean, you must have played pretty good after I left. Then, if you're up to level.
No,
20.
when I ended the stream, I played it yesterday. I played. Like I said, I don't mind grinding for levels and stuff. That's not a problem. But
You're not supposed to do that, man. You got to play every ounce of the game on stream.
Don't bully me.
And you don't have to just like you don't have to worry about going to areas like that where your route or where the gray sites aren't pointing. There's some cool stuff in other areas, but it's not like there's gonna be some cutscene, and if you're not streaming it, people are gonna miss out. Like if you went south, and there's like a castle down there, a smaller castle. But are you gonna save?
Really?
I thought you were gonna save and.
No, I just want to get the level up. I'm like a couple points away.
All right,
from
well
level
turn
up.
it off your camera.
Okay, gotcha. Hold on. I don't want to die like I did turning it on.
All right, so
All right.
Nintendo Direct. Anybody think we're getting one in February?
I mean, I don't think that's
This
really
week, man.
I think maybe in
There-
February,
there's
but
no
I
lot of
really hope it's not.
I mean, they've been pretty
Really hope-
consistent
Yeah, I
with
hope it's not.
You're
February.
just
Direct.
y'all just being Robert. You're being spiteful. That's all.
Come on, man! It would be hilarious as shit. Let's be real.
It's
I think-
not really hilarious. when
Well,
it's happened
tomorrow's
before.
the announcement date
Exactly. So let
deadline.
it happen again and again, so people
Right.
would just be like, "Oh my
If
god!"
they don't announce
Oh,
it,
this-
well, it could be a mini. If it's a mini, they could announce it Wednesday and it'd be Thursday. If it's a regular, they'd announce it tomorrow for Thursday.
And if
There's
it's a
no
mini,
rules,
eh,
man. They can do whatever they
they
want.
do whatever they want. And if it's a mini, everybody will immediately not care.
Mhm.
And to be fair, they've done it before where they've
had
actually. I
minis
remember
better
there's one
than
time.
actual directs.
I remember where they've also done it where they've just dropped the direct and they didn't say anything. Remember, it's like, "Oh, here's a
They've
Nintendo
only
Direct."
done that. They've only done that a couple times though.
Yeah, but it could be a third.
Well, no,
Mini
obviously,
almost
I'm
means
just
nothing.
saying.
By the way, mini almost means nothing.
Last mini
Yeah, I
was
don't
pretty
know.
long, wasn't it? Like
Right.
20 minutes.
Yeah, well, it was like 20-some minutes, I think.
I honestly
Yeah.
thought one of the developer directs was one of the best ones in the last few years. The one where they announced Monster Hunter Rise, Monster Hunter
okay,
Stories
yeah.
2, and Ori, and then.
That was a good one.
But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they had one in February, but I also not to be that guy that doesn't have a side, but I wouldn't be surprised either way, to be honest.
They've had one in February for the last 5 years.
They have, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's why.
If I was
that's why
gonna bet money, I'd put it on. It was happening this month.
I mean, when was the last one anyway? Like, time's flying. I don't even remember.
September?
September?
It's been a minute.
The RPG farm sim one.
A Nintendo minute.
Okay, yeah, I just
Boo,
saw
get
right
the
now.
fuck outta here.
September.
Man said the
2022.
Nintendo.
That was the
minute.
most divisive direct I think of all time, to be honest.
It was pretty divisive, I think. Yeah.
Which I mean, again, like I'm personally surprised it was, but
There was 30 games. I counted them all. There was only 5
Yes.
RPGs. Well, 5
Yes.
RPGs plus 4 farming sims plus 3 strategy games
Partridge in a pear tree.
plus
I'm sorry, you wanted 15 adventure games.
plus
I'm sorry.
5 remakes
I know.
on
I
top
feel,
of
I
all
feel your
that.
pain, I feel your pain for not getting the game.
Oh, and we got Pikmin 4, Fire
Yeah.
Emblem. Okay.
That's
We got
right.
a couple
And then
games.
the awesome Zelda thing at the end that everyone's like was bashing me at as if it was fucking.
The Zelda
not fucking
footage that
awesome.
didn't show anything really. We had
What
already
Zelda?
seen.
Wasn't that the GoldenEye one?
What
I
Zelda
feel like that
footage?
was the GoldenEye one.
Yeah, that was.
It,
It was,
probably
it was,
right.
it
It,
was.
kind of had to be.
No,
Yeah.
was it that long ago? No, that was just the that had some N64 online stuff, I think.
So wait,
Really?
when was GoldenEye show off?
I don't
That's-
remember
They just
because
I thought they just recently announced GoldenEye was
rumored
coming.
for so long on the Microsoft side. It was rumored for so long because they had those leaked achievements, which
So I
it
just
didn't turn out to be anything because you don't even. Well, no, you get achievements, but
I'll just say I just checked my
I could be wrong. Maybe they
reaction
announced
team.
GoldenEye back then.
It was that. It was on. It was there. GoldenEye was there.
Okay, that was that
Man,
long
why-
before it came out.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that long.
That's the thing
Clearly, they were
too.
having issues.
It's weird because I mean we did the family plan, so it's not like it was super expensive, but the
For
lack
you
of,
guys.
yeah, but the lack
I
of
knew that was
games on
coming.
there, like there
I
is
got fucked.
Hey man, if you knew how to keep it in your pants, you wouldn't have these problems, bro.
I had to pay for half of this shit, bro.
Hey man, listen.
I will
that's
say
called not wearing a condom, sir.
I've been pretty hard over the years, like on Rare, but without Rare's games, the N64 lineup is quite small. Like for as far as like the bigger titles.
Didn't it just came out a year ago? It has 20 something.
No, I think he's talking about the whole library.
I'm talking, yeah, like there's a
Really?
lot of the library was Rare games. Like for me, like
Yeah, there's like 296.
so you don't have Blast Corps, you don't have. I mean, it does have Banjo, but you don't have Banjo 2. You don't have DK64. You don't have Jet
It's a
Force.
work in progress.
Conquer.
Jesus.
Conquer, Perfect
You
Dark.
gotta give it time, man.
That's
You
quite a
gotta give
few
it time.
bigger
There's some
titles.
really good third-party games.
Yeah, what about Extreme G? Extreme G?
Extreme G's? What about, is Turok on there?
No,
Win back.
No Turoks? Like, come
probably
on.
because they re-released the
No
remaster,
Turok,
but yeah, Turok 1 and 2 should be there. Maybe 3. I don't remember if 3 was on the N64.
Battle Tanks.
Oh, what is it? Army
honestly
soldiers or
Yeah,
tour-
Army Men. Like,
I
there's
don't
some good
Is Animal
third-party
Crossing
games out
on
there.
there, or are the Japanese Animal Crossing?
That's the Japanese,
No.
but they should
Yeah.
bring that. They should bring that. That'd be cool. But I guess it'd be all
I don't
Japanese.
think it'd just be the GameCube. I don't think they translated it. It's just the GameCube.
Yeah, I was gonna say they didn't. Yeah, they didn't translate. So to be fair,
So if they want to downport the GameCube one, I guess they could.
But
do
here,
that.
I mean, unless I don't know what goes on behind the scenes,
D-grade.
but I mean, $50 extra a year, and I mean the Genesis games I thought were just
And you can't even get a
abysmal.
controller, man.
It just
Yeah,
feels like
they didn't even
Miserable.
put in. They didn't
Oh,
even
I thought you could control. Oh no, you mean it sold out?
Yeah, sold
Neither
out.
Soul,
Oh, okay,
neither
gotcha.
Soul Calibur or Soul Calibur Gold is on.
oh,
Super
Killer
Nintendo
Instinct. Killer Instinct
yeah.
Gold would be another one for
Or
Rare.
Killer Instinct. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
Xbox being selfish.
But Mortal Kombat
There's
4
Mortal
could be on there.
Kombat. Yeah, that was a good one. Like there's a lot of good third-party games that they could
Clay
also
Fighters.
put on
Oh,
there. Oh God, not that one.
What?
wasn't there like a themed like claymation like fighter like a shit?
Clay Fighters,
Uh,
63.
Clay
No,
Fighter,
but there was.
yeah.
I feel like there was. Maybe that was the Super Nintendo. Oh, it was 7 Up.
Snowboarder
The
Kids,
7 Up game was on the Super Nintendo.
South Park.
But
There were like Vector Man. There was games in that kind of.
I'm just saying, for if you pay $50 for a year additionally for the N64 to have what 20 games, three of them are Mario Parties.
right?
Yeah.
It's $50 on top.
So I'm just
Yeah,
like, it
that's-
just seems like they should
no, it's 50. It's 50 in general.
$50
two
on
games.
top of the Switch Online.
It's not 50 on top. It's just 50 for
Two
the year.
games.
I thought it
two
was 50
games that you're
extra.
missing.
No,
No,
it's
it's
$70.
no, no.
It's not
Overall.
$70. It's 50 for the whole
Yeah,
thing.
it's 50
Oh,
if
is
it was
it?
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I was mistaken. It's been a while since I've seen that.
it's been a while since you got
So
angry at it, guys. You can give them some slack.
I mean, I'll trust because Terrell, obviously you had to do it, but in my memory,
Yeah.
like,
Family wise, I think it's 70. I think family wise, it's 70, right?
Yeah, family is 70.
Family
so I was
70.
thinking it was 50 on top of the 20.
Quantity
Okay.
better than quality.
No.
Okay.
It's
I
50
think
in
it's
total. If it was just
So
you.
$30 on top if you're already paying the 20.
Yeah,
You paid
$30 on
30.
top.
It still seems a little light at this point. I mean, they're gonna milk
The
this out
N64
for
plus
5
the
It still
years?
needs two games. There's two specific games that is missing. Well, three really, but it's missing Quest 64.
Man, come on.
Dumbass. What did you?
Wasn't
Why
it
you
like a
playing
Mischief
games?
Makers?
Mischief Makers.
Yeah, Mischief make that would be hard
Turok.
to get probably. 'Cause
But in
But
seriousness, it's
Turok
also
has a
missing,
remaster. They probably don't want to do it.
what's the game?
Oh yeah, it does. It does.
Beetle
See,
Racing
what's the
Adventure?
Oh, you mean the re-release?
Need
the-
food badly.
Need food badly.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Need
Yeah.
food.
Sorcerer needs food badly.
No idea.
Goemon?
Gauntlet.
Goemon?
Gauntlet. Thank you.
Goemon.
Gauntlet.
Oh,
Gauntlet Legend.
Gauntlet. Yeah, Gauntlet.
Like,
That would be
Isn't Goemon
hey,
also
that's a great
64
four-player game too.
What about
That's
San
a great
Francisco?
online
You
game.
had San
Also,
Francisco
Smash,
Rush.
they don't have Smash Brothers on
isn't
there
on
yet.
there.
They're probably not going to put Smash on.
I don't
What?
think
You don't
they
think
will.
so?
Nah, it
No.
wouldn't surprise me.
No,
It
Why not?
opens up. It
1080
opens up that
snowboarding.
meta
They don't
that they
got
don't
1080
want.
on there.
because that Smash is so removed from the Smash we play today. I don't think they would. I don't
But that's the
think
perfect
I mean,
game
they have
because
it
you're
on
all
Wii U
players
Virtual
on the
Console.
screen at the same time.
when
It's
you
not
put it
split
on there and
screen.
you put it online, I don't think they want you playing the new Smash online. They
Yeah,
don't want
that's
you.
a meta that they don't want to open up. They don't
Yeah.
I
want
don't
to.
know. I don't know. That's tough.
I don't know. It'd be my first time
Because they have
playing
Mario
it,
Kart.
honestly.
Why can't they? I mean, they got Mario Kart 64. You know.
That's like them having GameCube and putting
And they got
Melee
Mario
on
Party
there. I
1,
don't think
2,
they'll have
while also
Yeah, I don't think
simultaneously having
that's the
Superstars.
reason. I wonder if it's something else going on. If they're waiting for it to be like a
And
big
they got the
announcement.
new Pokemon stadiums coming out. I know Terrell's excited for
I
that.
actually was gonna try Pokemon Snap.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna try
Absolutely.
Pokemon
Oh yeah, they
Snap.
have Pokemon Snap on there.
So anyway, let's get back to the we got sidetracked. We were talking about Direct. We don't know much. We know Pikmin 4 slated and Tears of the Kingdom. What else is like 100% already announced, confirmed for 2023 from Nintendo?
This better be 100% announced, confirmed. Like, nah,
Bro.
like, come on.
Am I forgetting something? Is there a game we
No,
know
there's
about?
nothing else. That's it. It's done. It's a light year for literally everybody. Everyone's keeping quiet. I don't know why. Well, like, I guess I do know why. Usually
Nintendo doesn't have anything
Nintendo
else.
announces stuff now
Because
usually.
I feel like at this point last year we knew about a lot more games for 2022.
We all, I
Did we?
feel every February or every direct in the beginning of the year always has like 1 or 2 games we never heard of literally coming out like a couple months
Let's look
later.
at
Yeah.
the last year's February Direct and see.
Yeah, let's see. I'll click my reaction because that's usually where I could just see all the things. lined
Oh
up.
yeah, check out Gaming with me, man, on the
No,
YouTube.
you don't have to click it. I'm gonna just click my
Hey,
own
man,
description.
just click it on the YouTube.
I'm clicking my
It's
own
the game-
description.
It's the gaming with me. right?
2922. So it started with Advance Wars.
Try taking
Well, also Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes was that already out? No, I mean was that
No.
That was a
announced?
new announcement. That
A
game
new
kind of
announcement.
came and went.
People,
Yeah.
people really enjoyed it though apparently. And then,
Advance Wars.
which that will come out. That will come out now.
That'll probably
Mario
be pretty
Strikers
soon.
was announced that, and
The
Nintendo
only-
Switch on
Was that
sports.
announced though? That was
Yeah.
announced that day.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing.
Did it
Or
release
maybe
yet?
that might have been a. Let's see.
It released yet. I think I see it.
Sky
No.
lands on Nintendo Switch
Ass.
this summer.
No, Mario Strikers ain't. I don't think the whole game released yet.
Yeah, I knew
Yeah,
you
that
were
was the
gonna do this, you
announcement.
fuck.
And then Kirby and Forgotten Land, which was already announced, I believe.
Mhm.
Then you got Nintendo Switch Sports.
I think that was
announced.
announcement.
That was announced then.
Zelda
Then
was
you
pushed
had
back.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was announced.
We already knew
Was
that.
it?
Oh wait, that's
we
what
didn't.
Terrell
No,
said.
that-
I
that-
didn't think it was
no.
announced then.
That's when it was announced. And
So
then it
yeah,
came
there
out,
was
like,
basically the
That
whole
was a
year was
surprise.
announced in the February Direct.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that
That's
to be
why
fair,
they ain't going to E3.
They do that. They do that.
Nobody's going
So
to
that
E3,
makes me
man.
think there's
But last year they didn't do an E3 last year.
that
They
makes
do that
me even
pretty
more
often.
thinking
Well,
that there's
nobody did.
definitely a February Direct again because that was Alive got announced.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Live Alive. That's right. Triangle Strategy.
Triangle Strategy.
Yep.
Was announced then?
Yeah.
Well, we already knew that as the
Yeah, we knew about it already.
strategy
Did?
untitled whatever they called it.
No,
Project.
Triangle Strategy.
They
No,
called
I'm
it
saying.
Project Triangle Strategy for.
Oh,
months.
no,
Yeah.
my bad. I'm thinking Project Octopath Traveler 2. No, that was announced this last one, right?
October Traveler 2, I think. Was.
Mario Kart 8
That was the last
DLC
one.
announced at that
Which comes
point.
out
Oh,
this
that's right.
month.
That was actually announced there, right?
And then it
See, that's what
ended-
they, to be fair, they did announce
Ended
a
with
lot of stuff
Xenoblade
there.
Chronicles 3 announcement. So yeah, I was wrong.
People- yeah.
All the big
Well,
announcents for the year pretty much were announced
Yeah,
Jeez.
at
that's
the
why,
Feb.
After
why
Bayonetta.
Nintendo feels they don't need a middle of the year extravaganza anymore. They just
And
Not
to
a-
be fair, they also had the
Splatoon
biggest
3 were
one.
the
I
only
forgot
one.
about that. They also announced Kingdom Hearts for Cloud.
We don't.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
That was the big
no,
one. That was the big
no,
announcement.
No. First off, that was announced
was
during
the
that
big one.
stupid that Smash Direct that we don't.
So
talk
Bayonetta
about.
3 wasn't in that one. That was later on, right?
No, that was later. Bayonetta 3 and
Yeah, we still
what
didn't
did I
know about-
say?
That was
You know,
fucking Game
Splatoon,
Awards.
Splatoon 3.
No, it was Splatoon 3 Salmon Run was in the February of 2022.
Yeah, I see.
We already
Same
knew
one.
Splatoon 3 well before.
We already
that.
knew about that though.
They
that
announced
was like
that
a
one
year
pretty
before that.
early.
Yeah, which was nuts.
So yeah, that's crazy, man. It's how like time
So,
time flies.
If they do the same thing, yeah,
It's already been a year since that direct, and B, I forgot that many big announcements happened. That was a great
Did they do
direct.
Pokemon?
Yeah,
Yeah,
They do-
I
that's
think
a
we
really
all
good.
came
Yeah,
up
that
with
was a really
one
good direct.
Pretty hype. We came
That
up
was-
with that.
I might have to go back and listen to that podcast. I mean, I couldn't have been very negative on this
Oh, man,
direct.
it sucked. I only bought one game all year anyway.
Pretty sure you said that one was a B. If it wasn't for Xenoblade, that one
Oh,
would
that
be
was
the
also
one.
the Ezio collection for Assassin's Creed announcement. That looks
Oh, I forgot
trash.
about that.
God, it looked bad in that trailer.
Who bought that?
PlayStation
Anybody?
movies.
Anyone?
I mean, a 3D Kirby game, a Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Advance Wars coming back, even though it was a remake.
The Fire
Portal
Emblem
coming to
thing,
Switch.
the
Alive Alive.
Mario Strikers and Nintendo
Switch
Switch
Sports.
Sports, whether you
Even though I
feel
thought-
how they feel now, but
Yeah. I felt
you
like
know.
that. I was a little worried about the game back then.
No,
And
we were both skeptical. I remember because
Yeah.
we were after
And Mario Kart
tennis
8 DLC.
and golf. We were like, I don't know, I don't trust Nintendo
Plus, like,
Sports
Oh,
anymore.
plus we
no,
saw
but
the
listen, man.
sports. There's only 6 of them. We're like, man, they're kind of feeling like they're not going all in with this one. But
I'm
anyway,
pretty sure you gave it a B.
I'm gonna say for sure there's gonna be a direct in February then.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean they gotta lay out the year. I guess it could be March.
What are they gonna now? At this point, I got my Animal Crossing. I got my Paper Mario. I got my WarioWare that I asked for. My next thing, let's see a Rhythm Heaven, man.
Did
Let's
you
see
get
a
your
Rhythm-
Paper Mario?
Come on, man. That was a great game. Yes, of course that was good. It was good.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He's lying.
Would you rather had a different combat or with everything else the same? Had
I enjoyed the combat a lot,
Did
especially
you?
when it comes to the boss battles.
It
The
got
boss
super
battles,
tedious.
the boss battles though are
so if it was
dope as shit.
1,000 Year Doors combat with everything else stayed the same, would that have been better?
I would have been fine with that too.
Fuck yeah, bro.
Better. I'm okay with this existing as its own separate thing to just at least play that, and
No.
I enjoyed it a ton.
But we
So
haven't
I can't
had
say
we haven't
What?
had like 1,000-year door.
I know, but
Since
but
then.
that's like
1,000-year door. We haven't had
That's
that.
Because they
as
went
much
to
as-
a platform in the next game. Super Paper
Yeah.
Mario was almost
Yeah,
like
no,
a
Which
I
platform.
loved it, but I felt like that to me that wasn't Paper Mario. That was Super Paper Mario. So that was a different thing. So as far as I'm concerned,
You
Then
know
we
what I
got
haven't had
to
since the GameCube?
the 3DS
Fucking
one, which
Star
was
Fox.
Sticker Star.
Sticker Star. That killed everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
A
think
lot of people
anybody
bought
really liked
shit.
that.
Everybody bought that bitch though. That's just like sold like 4 million
Well,
copies. or something.
that's probably why they were like, okay, all right.
What about
That's why they were like, you guys are all talking shit, but you're buying
what
the
about
game.
Color
so...
Splash, the best Paper Mario game?
Which I look. Color Splash is also another underrated one that I 100%ed. That's the game that I actually 100%ed that I
it ain't
played.
underrated.
And it's underrated because while again the combat system isn't the I do prefer 1,000 Year Door over Color Splash's combat system, but at the end of the day, just the whole exploration of always coloring in every single little
The
thing.
game,
That was
the
so fun.
visuals, the humor was all great.
Yeah.
They just can't stop
Nailed
messing
the
with the
combat.
combat system.
Yeah.
Leave it
No, I
the hell
agree.
alone.
And don't they have that weird rule about like different Goombas and stuff? Now
That's a bullshit. That's not true because there's so many other different like characters that they have and stuff that I don't know why people always bring that up. And in Sticker Star, sure, and yeah, in other things there's a lot of like Toads, but there's also plenty of unique characters in
Yeah,
every
but there's so
single
many
one.
No,
toads.
There's
so
a
many
lot of Toads. Yes, there's a lot of Toads, and they make jokes on it though. But it's
To me, yeah, to
They
me,
have
man.
very much like cut down on the uniqueness of some of the characters. It's
How
very
many hours
obvious.
you played at Origami King, sir?
Never.
No,
Okay.
Origami King is great as far as that goes. Oh no, it's back to form as far as the characters and the comedy.
That's what I'm
and all
saying.
that
But
stuff.
that's what I'm saying is that it's back to that.
But the
and I would
problem
argue-
is-
Keyword, but
Complete-
keyword. If you say it's back, means it was gone.
But here's the problem.
It
If
was.
I'm
I'm not saying- I disagree
actively
with that.
if I'm actively avoiding
Sticker
battles,
Star, yeah.
then your game isn't good. Whereas
Oh no, Sticker Star was
or
trash.
a big part of your game isn't good. If I'm actively running away from battles, because there's really no incentive. There's no incentive to doing battles. It's not an RPG.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is also with I agree with that, but
Got the
also
chat
at the same
back.
time, in even RPGs, I
Wait,
like
is
to
that
run
in
away from
English? Does
battles.
that chat look right?
I don't like to, I
Yeah.
don't like to be playing a million battles in RPGs either. If they got me grinding, but
I'm out here.
that depends. That depends on the game. But like in terms of writing and stuff, and I remember I replayed 1,000 Year Door, and I think a lot of people have rose tinted glass on 1,000 Year Door
yeah.
because there's a
It ain't
there
as
are
good as
some-
you remember.
the pacing could be a pain in the ass at points where
Yeah.
there's one point for hours you're literally finding this one dude and you end up back in the same spot where you were leaving to find him, and that's where he was the whole time. And you actually had to physically walk around this whole world, and that literally takes multiple hours. And I'm like, what a waste of fucking time. And then people are like, oh my god, and it is a great game.
But
It's
Robert,
fantastic. But man, they got some
are you
rose-tinted
saying
glasses.
are you saying it didn't work back then? Because I mean, if it worked back then, why does it not work now? Just gonna.
all I'm
That's
saying is that it's that people talk so much shit, but then they don't like to criticize Thousand Year Door when it does a lot of.
But that was the GameCube.
similar things.
You just said it. That was the GameCube's call sign. What a waste of time.
We're not getting into a GameCube debate. I will say, I feel like there was some pushback with the GoldenEye controls. I did a Juice Opinions. I don't think we talked about it really. I don't think we talked about it last week, but I just wanted to stress, like, it's not correct to say that a game aged poorly. I think that's the wrong wording. I think that it's just too much has changed, or too many, or I change, or a gamer or a person's taste change, or you just get
Strange.
It could be like little Cray was talking. He tried to play Rocket League on his PS5 he got, and he was struggling, and he's like, I hate these sticks down here. I'm like, yeah, it's really hard when you have like muscle memory for like doing moves in Rocket League or Call of Duty, and then switching your button layout. I mean, just something is moving, the sticks being in a different spot throws you off, let alone like, you know, a game that was inverted and you're used to non-inverted and all this stuff. Like, it's nothing against the game. It doesn't mean the game was bad and we just didn't realize it back then. It just means too many things have changed, where it's like, if you haven't played the game in a long time, I said it was like when you haven't seen somebody in like 5 years and you're like, dang, you lost some weight, or dang, you put on a little weight, you know, but if you see them every day, you don't notice. Yeah. And I feel like that's how it can be with sometimes with
well, I think my main issue, because it's, you know, a lot of times this talk revolves around the N64 controller, and I'd be ready to fight, man, because these 30-something N64 babies who are now talking about, oh man, N64 controller is so terrible. Go play Jumpin' Jack Flash then, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, go play that on PS1 and tell me Mario controller is worse than that. So, or excuse me, Bubsy 3D. Go play that shit. Like,
you mean pre-analog controller?
Yeah.
Right. This was the first. You know, it's not going to be as good as it is today, but goddamn, it was very, very good, especially coming from what we had. So
it was.
That
I mean, it was mind blowing.
It's the same, but my problem is that you want to have this, you want to have kind of your cake and eat it too. You want to, the N64, I have so much nostalgia for it. It's so blurry. The analog stick is chalky. Like you can't have it both ways.
Well, I will say,
you have nostalgia for it and you love it, or you never liked it. And you just
you like the thought of it.
You'll have to take my word on this, but my thumb always had trouble gripping the hard plastic of the N64 controller. I mean, back then, I would have to constantly like lick my thumb, try to get some grip. You know, that was I literally legit had that happen to me back then, and but you could still play games. It's not like I couldn't beat Mario 64, but it was something that was just a slight gripe, I guess, back then. And then now with rubber, and you get like the Xbox One controller added the grips to the side, like, yeah, that's an improvement. Like, going back to like the hard smooth plastic when we had a little bit of the ridges or whatever, but doesn't mean my thumb isn't going to be any, like, nothing's changed for me. Like, that's still something I would say. I might notice it more now that there's rubber on analog sticks, but it's still I always thought it was a bit of an issue back then. But
if you're playing Mario Party and you're doing this shit for,
but I mean, even playing GoldenEye, obviously we played it and we were able to play it, but it was always a little bit
not killing my thumb. It's just not. It's just.
But I always thought it was slippery, and it never.
Yeah, that's fine. But a lot of the talk around it is oh my god, it's just so hard. Like, it was stabbing you like needles or something.
They forgot that the PlayStation started with no analogs.
Yeah.
I think that's like the biggest thing is like, do y'all not remember who like really really push the analog game because
Playing 3D games with a D-pad.
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
No
Left,
analogs.
left, then press up.
It's like no analogs and a jank D-pad. Like I don't care what anybody says.
It's not
What was
even a
that game?
D-pad.
What was that game that
that's
came out and you had to have the analog controller? Like you couldn't. Was it
Ape
Ape Escape?
Ape
Yeah,
Escape, yeah.
I bought that
You
game. I'm like,
couldn't even
oh,
play that shit.
analog? Oh, that's okay. I'll just use the up, down, left, and right. Nope, can't do that.
Really?
And
They
I-
don't let you at all.
I gotta disagree with Retro. I think the split D-pad on the PlayStation, like the main thing they got right. That's like this whole time. I think that, to me, that just there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You need to press left on the D-pad. I mean, you're gonna press left. It's not accidentally gonna hit up like in the freaking Wii U did. My Wii U Pro controller did it, and my Switch Pro controller.
I feel like the worst culprit of that is the 360 controller.
I was
Oh,
gonna say,
yeah.
yeah, the
That
worst
was
is
the
the
worst.
360, man.
And this, I think the Genesis was pretty bad too,
Yeah.
because Nintendo had the
Yeah.
patent, and then they couldn't really
Yeah.
do anything about it.
Genesis, I did not like that D-pad on the Genesis.
No.
But
Yeah.
I mean, the N64 controller was odd when you first saw it, but when you held it, it felt great.
Yeah. Especially for shooters.
I
Ah.
think, for me personally, I didn't necessarily love the using it with the D-pad. Like it just felt, I
It was too far apart.
I preferred
only
the
for
analog
combat
stick,
for me.
the middle grip. Like that felt right
Yeah.
to
But
me.
it worked. It wasn't great, but
No.
it worked because there was a
Yeah.
lot of 2D games. Mischief Makers is one of them. I love playing Mischief Makers on there. You had to play with the D-pad. You couldn't use the analog stick. So
In Mortal Kombat and Killer Instinct
Mortal
like
Kombat,
that.
Killer Instinct, right? So there were a lot of games that it was fine.
Just love
I
playing,
just like the
Golden-
idea, the creativity of you playing 2D games, you got to switch position with the controller.
Mhm.
You're playing 3D games, you switch. Like to me, that was just cool. That was just like
Playing
a cool thing.
GoldenEye and feeling that rumble and having the trigger, like that just felt right.
That's what I was gonna say. It's so
Yeah.
satisfying when you're playing GoldenEye and you're like jacking in a rumble back, like you're
Yeah,
loading
it's
the
like you
fucking
put-
controller.
Who's
And to hear
that?
that Rare was going to like make that a thing, like to reload, you had to jack in your rumble pack. I think that's Rare being
That would
too
have been
crazy.
horrible.
They
bro.
would've
It
wore
would have been
that out.
horrible. But I like the fact that they thought of that. Like that.
Yeah.
That was
Who was
cool.
that? Who sent that video? That dude doing all the reloads with like
Oh, I
you-
said, yeah,
like
yeah.
just
I love
normal
that.
household things, like
Uh-huh.
vacuum,
I
like a
love that.
handheld vacuum cleaner, like.
So,
Like-
that's so funny you say that, T, because I swore up and down, like when the Switch first came out and they had the HD Rumble, I'm like, man, it's gonna be one of those times where you can feel like you
Mhm.
switching in the clip and like the actual bullets popping out. And like this is
Damn,
just
yeah.
Right. That's
And
my
then
That would be
disappointment.
cool.
That is my
Yeah.
disappointment that they never
Yeah, you could have gone
really
like that.
went that far.
Like that. Yeah, that would have been cool.
you could just feel
honestly,
the slide out and everything.
that would be good with because I will say in VR you could. I remember there's shooter games where you pull out the magazine, you grab it, and you put that's so cool.
Yeah, the
You know?
Switch is a suit. That's what got me so excited about the Switch. I loved it to death, especially the first year and a half. It on paper, it's so creative, but in practice, it's not at all. It's basically a standard setup, and that's the potential. They didn't really go after. Once they saw it started selling, they didn't really care about that stuff, the gimmicks anymore. So
Hopefully, I feel like if Retro was still around to do that kind of stuff, I feel like they would have done it for
Yeah.
the Switch.
You mean Rare?
Probably.
Hopefully Metroid.
Oh, you're
I
talking about
can't
Retro?
say that I don't think that Retro would do. I'm sorry, Rare, not Retro. But
yeah,
I'm
I,
hoping-
They're gone.
I hope that Retro would actually, with Metroid Prime 4, man,
well, the
just
hope was
at
that Retro was
least-
going to be the new
at-
Rare. That was the hope.
at least let me feel like when you charge up the beam, you can feel like the beam sliding through the controllers or something.
See, I
you know
don't
what
think
mean?
my Joy-Cons are. I don't think the motors are, especially my Pro controller, are that good anymore. It just feels like vibration to me now.
It just feels like regular
I,
vibration.
I
Well,
think
to be
that's
fair,
because they
most games
just.
only do regular vibration.
They
Yeah,
don't
I
do
think it's
HD.
because they do it that way.
But even like Mario Kart, like in Odyssey, like I felt it a little bit, but I guess now that I felt the DualSense, I guess that's probably changed my views of what HD Rumble. Initially,
Could
it
be.
felt really cool, but now it feels pretty tame. But it's
Well, what I'll say is that compared to the DualSense, like for sure, but there's like And it sucks because the biggest way to realize HD Rumble is sadly through the ball game of 1-2 Switch.
Yeah.
And if you ever felt that like legit,
Yo,
it's
that
incredible.
entirely
game?
changed
Yeah.
my mind about the whole thing. Just
Yeah, trust me when I
having
say
the-
it's like
oh my god, it's real.
you literally
had-
feel like a whoop, boom, boom, whoop,
Yeah,
boom, boom,
I've had
like you
so
feel-
many people play it and
Yeah.
then look at the controller and be like, "Is there actually
Yeah.
like something in here?" And it's like, no, that's all the
Mhm.
rumble.
And having it
It's-
apart,
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
never-
even see what does
See,
that.
they need to make that one mini game free for everybody. That
I never
one is-
cared
yeah.
for 1-2 Switch, but that kind of stuff was the stuff that got me excited. And that January event, and what was that, 2017, before the
You
Switch came out.
Which
You
is
could
why
hear
you
it
know
roll.
you
Oh
could
my
totally do
God.
like a bullet coming out. You could 100%.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So-
That was what triggered my mind. Like, oh my gosh, Activision is gonna come out with a Call of Duty specifically for them, and the bullets are gonna bust out of this thing, and that's gonna.
I think
that's
that
what's
would-
gonna sell it.
6 years
Call
later.
of Duty on the Switch.
Get ready to be
Man,
complaining
you
about
gotta
5-hour battery
Hey,
life on the
Microsoft
Joy
now is gonna
Cons.
do it.
Your Joy
Oh,
Cons
what
are
the
gonna last.
fucking do? We won't see that for another 3
Well,
years.
we didn't think that was
Yeah,
too
gotta-
crazy
Maybe 4 years.
back
Yeah.
then. We
Well,
didn't think that was
that's me
too
being
crazy
generous.
because Bethesda was dropping fucking Doom and
That was
Elder
Bethesda.
Scrolls,
Wolfenstein.
but and they
That was a better
Wolfenstein,
company.
and hold on, and on Wii U we got Call of Duty, so
Yeah.
it wasn't crazy to think that we were going to
only
get a Call
got
of
it.
Duty game.
We only got what, 2, right?
Yeah, but that was
Yeah,
because
but
fucking
Black
Wii U
Ops
didn't
2 and
sell.
Ghost-
And then we never
Right.
saw it again.
I
If
gotta
the Wii U sold
disagree.
better, we'd have got more.
Yeah,
I-
I would assume. I mean, I would assume they were still coming. At least
Yeah.
with something.
Yeah.
Nah.
Like
gotta
even
dis-
even retroed it. You know what I mean? Oh, you get Advance Wars now, but we've added this to it. You know?
Yeah, we got Spider-Man games from Activision on Wii U, bro. Like,
Yeah, Amazing
Two
Spider-Man.
of them. Two
1
of
and
them.
2.
Right.
Amazing
So-
Spider-Man 1 and 2.
It
Facts.
wasn't crazy to think that they were going to drop some on a popular console.
Yeah, but they did very strange. It is very strange. You think they'd even do Call of Duty Mobile at the minimum.
The
And
minimum.
people are talking about, oh,
Yeah.
they can't handle it.
Minimum.
They can't handle this. They can't handle that. Bitch, we got every Call of Duty game on the Wii. On
Yeah.
the Wii.
On the
so I don't want to
DS.
hear.
On the DS.
The DS got Call of Duty games, so I don't want to
Black
hear that.
Ops 1.
The Switch couldn't handle
Model
it.
for obviously it's different versions, but it's
I think
like
they're just gonna be bothered. That's what it was.
Yeah, something happened.
Yeah.
And they just said, "Fuck it."
That's why
even though
Microsoft's
Nintendo's
like, hey,
popular,
man.
we put no games over there. That's
So-
crazy.
But again, like I still believe that whole Microsoft thing, we're not going to see that first game until the new Switch,
Don't-
the new console.
They have to
Yeah.
actually own them first before you
Yeah.
start speculating.
I think I'd be surprised if it gets shut down. I really.
I don't think it's going to get shut down. It's going to get stretched out. That's for sure, though.
So let's get back to the
Sony-
Rumble
Sony-
real quick.
Sony's going to make sure that this shit
That's funny.
lasts as long as possible.
I will say with the Rumble real quick. The one game that recently used it that surprises me is the Crisis Core Reunion uses it, and it's
Oh, really?
very weird. Yeah, it does, and it's
Uses HD?
yeah.
Yeah, I heard it does. Yeah.
Huh.
It's one of the weirdest. Square for some reason was like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna add it to our fucking remake of a PSP title. What?
Of all
All
games.
right.
And
What's
it
the
works.
last?
It works pretty well. I will say, I've had moments. They'll even do it in cutscenes sometimes, where you're just sitting there. Like Zach does squats a lot. That's like his impatient thing
yeah,
to do.
yeah.
You can actually feel like the tenseness of it when he's like going up and down. with it.
Really?
Yeah, even with the sword,
That's
and
great.
that's just that. Even if we're talking about like sword slashes, you can feel like the weight for it's so weird. I don't. It's hard.
What
To
do
me,
you
you
use?
have, huh?
You use the Pro Controller?
And I'll use the Pro Controller and I feel
Oh,
this shit.
really?
Yeah.
Pro
I just
controller
enjoy
for
it.
my Pro controller, the HD Rumble always sucked, and it
Yeah.
I switched to
The
the
Starlink
Joy-Cons.
broke it.
It's nuts. No, the Joy-Cons is better.
I was gonna say the Joy Cons are better.
Yeah, that's
But,
not-
maybe they
yeah.
improved it in later Pro controllers, but mine was a launch
No, I
one.
mean it's the same with me. I feel it more with Joy-Con.
Well, you don't
The
have
Joy-Con
the
are-
official Pro controller.
I think it's because
no,
it's
I
in.
do. Remember, I had to buy.
No, yeah,
Did
he
you?
bought it.
I still
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
I thought you bought a
I
mock,
bought
a Chinese one.
I bought a knockoff, and then it broke.
You bought an
Then I-
official Pro controller? Do you
Yeah,
use
yeah,
it for
I
anything?
Yeah, he did. Because you
You
said
get
something about it
Yeah.
when he bought it.
What do you use
Yeah.
it for?
Everything. really.
You do? Oh, I
Yeah.
thought seriously. I thought you made us thing about you're gonna use the Joy Cons like this whole.
I
Like,
just like the statement of, "Hey man,
No,
I,
I mean-
got a Pro Controller. What you use it for?"
I like the tone in his voice.
no, I'm surprised. I thought you said you wanted to play like the Joy Cons
you got
only
that
for
controller
like the
for, man?
longest time.
No, like trust me. Like, I for the first years until probably Astral Chain. I think I used only the Joy Cons, and then I got the Pro Controller. I got the knockoff, and then I dropped it once,
And it
like
shattered.
three, like this, like right here, like that's how far it was, and that thing was just busted. Like
It was
what?
you and
Alright.
RGT85 were the only ones that wouldn't buy a goddamn Pro Controller.
And then so then I ended up buying a Pro Controller, and then I was like, all right, fuck, what's
Man,
wrong?
I must.
And so I got a Pro Controller, and then admittedly, like there's certain games that I'll still play like Joy-Cons with. Certain ones I don't like WarioWare I play with Joy-Cons.
Tears of the Kingdom, I'm just because it's gonna be all Joy-Con.
So what is the
I
last?
played all my
What's the
Breath of the
last
Wild playtime
Nintendo
with
game?
Joy-Cons.
Yep, same here.
What's the last Nintendo game that uses HD Rumble?
The last Nintendo game?
There's many of the Mario parties.
Yeah,
Kirby?
I wouldn't know about those.
Did Kirby use it?
I don't think Kirby Forgotten
Not to
Land.
my
No way.
Yeah.
I don't.
Switch Sports.
Let me.
Maybe Switch Sports.
And I gotta
Yeah,
point.
but
I gotta.
To be honest with you,
But I
not
didn't buy
I
that
felt
shit,
bad.
so I don't know.
I gotta defend Microsoft real quick. I gotta defend Microsoft
man.
to Lenny.
Bro,
He said that
what?
HD might seem unimpressive now, but at least it's better than the motorized Rumble. Microsoft, the motorized Rumble is the fucking
dope.
the shit,
It's
dude.
super cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I much prefer the
It's
motorized
very
Rumble.
good.
Like
I
this
actually-
controller
I
right
actually-
here is right behind the
triggers and
DualSense
shit?
for me for Rumble. This
Well, they need to combine both. To be honest.
So wait, you think the DualSense is better then?
I put the DualSense's Rumble ahead because it also has the adaptive triggers. I guess it's not quite fair, but this has the trigger rumble for an Xbox for like
Yeah.
Forza, plus the actual
That shit feels
the
great.
motorized rumble. Like to me, this reminds me the most of the N64 Rumble. Because
Those Star Fox explosions, I was like, oh, this shit's filled.
Oh, the Star Fox. Oh, let it go hard.
if you have
That shit was great.
if you have Shadow of the Tomb Raider on Xbox, just start the beginning of that game. It feels like there's a heartbeat in your hand with that.
Yeah.
With the Xbox controller, it's amazing.
That's very cool.
I always say it's I always say Forza is my favorite for it, but
Yeah, when you're braking and stuff, it almost feels
Yeah.
like adaptive triggers with the trigger
I
rumble.
do love this.
well, but every time you're like, it's always like, it's always like vibrating when you're
and
like
what's
you're
that
driving.
back there?
It's a battery pack.
Yeah.
I don't got time for no fucking switching batteries and shit.
Yeah, I gotta get that T. I still got
There
my.
you go. There you go.
Pro got it too. Here's mine. It's called Wired.
I gotta show mine,
It's called Wired.
Wired.
Wiring what?
Yeah, I'm
wrong
not
with
as
you?
cool as you guys.
Crazy. What
I'm
is it,
not as cool
2005?
as
I can
What the
only
hell is
play
that?
this wired.
I'm
I have
not as
no.
cool as you
I have no
guys.
Bluetooth
What the
in my
hell
PC.
is that?
You don't even have
Show the
rechargeables,
inside.
It's
dude.
like an abomination in your hand, Sandstorm. The fuck?
Budget. We
Not
budget
even
on PC,
rechargeable.
all
You
right?
get it, you ghetto ass motherfucker.
Dude, I paid.
I actually have.
Dude,
so
I paid
no
like
joke,
$40
This
for
is
this.
a true story. I have a whole.
Me too.
This is a true
How
story.
much was a
from-
controller, Sandstorm?
It was I think 35.
Yeah, I got this for 40.
Bruh, what?
That's not it. That's not
You
that
should have
impressive.
just
That's not
bought
a
the
deal.
main controller.
I paid 42 for this. This is fucking nice.
And yours
No,
is
I-
the
you know how
series
much I paid for
controller.
This shit was
Yeah, it's a
$500.
Everyone grabs controllers and retro grabs a drink. And he
Retro
was like-
Controller bit.
was
Retro
like,
took his first step
"Man,
towards being
fuck
a
this."
Microsoft guy here.
Look at the cat in the back just sitting
Uh-oh.
there, just staring.
He's like, I'm about to take your fucking
His head looks
soul.
really small right now.
Did someone say Bat and Kaitos?
No joke, no joke. I have until these batteries run out. I'm always gonna keep using them because I literally from like 2018 when I used to work as one of pushing carts, man. I found a pack of batteries. I just put them in my car, and because they would
So you
people
just
leave
called
stole
stealing.
batteries?
people
Batteries
leave
are
shit.
expensive, man. I can
People
use
Did
leave
you
shit.
lose
So,
some-
Yeah, they
so
leave it
you
in the
sold
cart.
like-
I'm just gonna take it. I mean, it's already paid for, so I'm gonna take it. And so,
Oh, I done that shit too.
and
Thanks,
and I
John.
would take like these huge battery packs, and I still have from like what is this 5 years ago now, still, because I don't use them that much. It's just for the Xbox controller that I only got a couple years ago, and then the Wii remotes.
I got rechargeables too, a bunch of rechargeables.
All right, so
Yeah, no, but once eventually I'll get well, it's funny because the series, my bad, 1S, I have the battery pack, the
Oh, why
rechargeable.
it cracked me up the way you
But-
said it. The
yeah.
series,
Yeah, it's like,
1S.
I'm like, hold on, the 1S.
the one.
also
we ain't got no 2S yet.
See, like I got this, which is
just a pack.
Yeah, see, it's like the battery.
That's what I
pack.
had. But
Oh
no.
yeah, I've seen that.
Wait
Yeah.
a minute.
You got one of them,
Can I
those?
use this for the Series X? I
Yeah.
just realized.
Yeah, you can use it for Series X.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
double A's.
rechargeable, baby.
You didn't even know.
Why wouldn't
Okay,
you be
all
able
right,
to?
well,
It's
never
double
mind.
A's.
Yeah, because you're talking about this, right, Robert? That
But his
I
is
don't
the
know if you can
official.
use the same exact. Well, we're gonna test that out right now.
I'm about to say you have it.
The best feeling controller of all times, man.
Oh man,
Not with those little
hooray.
grips, it ain't.
What the hell was
yeah.
that sense?
Oh.
I just decided to get on my Steam and realize that Hogwarts Legacy is finally available for preload. Because
Oh yeah, that's right.
Wait,
Whatever.
what day does it officially come out?
Tomorrow.
I think.
No,
I will say I'm
not
surprised
it's
by
Friday,
the
but tomorrow.
Today.
the first review
the
I
day
watched
tomorrow.
was
today.
very positive.
Because I don't like J.K. Rowling.
I identify as a woman, man.
I was gonna
I ain't no man, woman.
predict like a 70 Metacritic, but after the first review I watched, it's like, dang, that sounds pretty positive.
Did you see the score yet?
No,
Because it's a Sony game.
Do you want me to tell you? You want me to reveal it?
go ahead.
Is that in the 80s?
Haven't you heard it's
The-
only
the
on
re-
PS5?
Well, the highest number of ratings to be fair is on the PS5 version. So I'll tell you.
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it makes
We
sense.
ain't surprised
It's-
by that.
Because
it's
the
so far it's
PlayStation
48.
Nation magazine and PlayStation.
It's 48 of them, so it's not like it's still gonna pour in, but it's at 85.
Dang.
Hey, man.
Hey, I thought it
then,
was gonna be
but
86.
listen-
And then
Wow.
on Series X, you want to hear this? On Series X
With
only
5
14
reviews? Oh, 14.
with 14 reviews is 89.
Dude,
Oh
I
my
was
goodness.
ACG. That guy, I'm usually pretty in line with
Oh, that was
his.
you that shared that one. Okay.
And
I don't
he's
think
like,
this fits, guys. I don't think this fits.
why wouldn't it? It's double A's. If double A's fit.
No. Look. No, look. It's just
It's
it's
set
just
up.
already
Yeah,
on the
but
battery.
if a controller fits double A batteries and another controller fits double A batteries, unless there's something in the middle preventing it.
You
Is
may
it
not,
something- No, it can't be. No, on the
No.
series.
you may not be able to put the back on.
Is that what it is? You just can't.
Why
put the
not
back
though?
on?
I mean, it should be double A's aren't
Oh,
the same size.
Sometimes I had
Okay,
one
hold
that
on. Okay, maybe it's the same thing. Let's see.
I guess it depends on the cover. It's in there.
Yeah, it depends on your cover. Because I had one before.
So I was pretty surprised.
You gonna
I
turn
mean,
this big
pleasantly
ass- I always
surprised.
forget that you have this big ass TV in front of you, dog. Like I used to think it's just a part of the backdrop for a while, so I forgot that actually is a television.
So you got one of those Avatar TVs. People are like, what do you
Hey
mean?
man, but
People don't understand what I'm talking about when I say that because they haven't seen the extended version of the original movie, so they didn't see the Earth part at the beginning, where what's his name, Jake Sully.
Yeah.
He's at home in his apartment.
Oh,
and his
Visor
fucking
Grunt's a
TV
hater.
is an entire wall. I was like, what the fuck?
Wait,
I
how do you recharge this controller again, guys?
You have to plug it in, but that's
yeah, it's a
slow.
plug.
That's the slow charge. You have to just put it into a little charger usually.
Nah, I plug it in.
But if I plug it in, it works. Technically, that means it works, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's,
All right. Because it might be because the wire gives
you
it
have to
power.
plug it in and then charge it and then test it.
Well, when you had to sync it regardless, or is
No.
No,
it
but it's already
Yeah,
synced.
plug it
That's my Series X controller. It's synced.
Oh,
I'm more so
then-
saying that maybe if you change the battery, you gotta resync it or something. Probably
No,
not.
I wouldn't.
mean,
Nah, I think you should be fine.
No, I'm thinking more so like let's just see. I'm gonna find.
So,
experiment.
I'm guessing the
afraid
battery is dead because you should have just been able to hit a button and send some lights flashing.
Exactly. Yeah. So it should. That's how I'm guessing it. Like that's why. I
That's how
figured
much he.
dead.
That's how much he
how
plays
it-
his Xbox, bro. Just saying.
No. It's the Series S controller which I use for my PC only, which I always have it plugged in. So
Oh,
that's why.
gotcha. All right, gotcha.
But that's
gotcha.
what I'm thinking. It might be the power comes from the plug.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to tell.
Hey, Sandstorm, you gotta get off my boy Visor, man. You know what I'm saying? Not
Nah,
every
I will agree. Like,
not every grown man like kids movies.
no. You had that. We had already talked. Me and Juice already talked about it.
I
But
thought
we
the
kinda
game.
makes grown man
You
I
gotta
thought-
movies
be
the fuck.
of the time. You gotta be of the time to really actually grasp like.
But at the same
Oh,
time,
That's ageist, man. That's
what they
ageist.
showed of the game
I can't help what
previously,
era I was born in. The fuck.
I can't blame somebody for how they showed the game the first few times for thinking, "Oh, that looks kind of lame."
They look fucking amazing since the first fucking.
But-
trailer,
Yeah, I
man.
don't know.
Yeah,
what
that's
you're
what I
talking
thought.
about. I'm
I'm like,
confused.
whoa.
Because
That
I
take.
I saw it and I was like, I don't know, man, that doesn't look like
I don't know.
I don't know if that looks fun or
What,
not.
about being in the times.
No, I'm talking about
See?
seeing the game. Doesn't matter if you know Harry Potter or not. I can't blame somebody for seeing like the video where they're like the last one they were doing with the people talking, showing you the slow moving. They were like really slowly moving on the broom and
broom
stuff.
and everything.
I could see
Yeah.
somebody seeing that. I don't know. That don't look that good. But
I was
judging from what people were saying about like the positives, the ACG was going over the pros and cons, and the pros all sound like he said the exploration is like super great. Like he really loved exploring the world, and I was like, oh, that's all I need to hear really, because that's
I like Harry Potter. I was a grown ass man with an apartment when I went and saw that the Sorcerer's Stone, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Dude, that was amazing.
I didn't see the
That was
first two at the
one of my
theater.
favorite movie going experience of all time was Sorcerer's Stone in movie theaters. It was great.
All right,
That was my legit first experience.
so Sandstorm. Let's
Yeah, yo.
let's say you've been waiting how long since the tease or the leak of this game? Let's say you didn't listen to any previews, you don't know anything, you just know you want to play it. You throw down your, what is it, 60? I'm guessing.
60-inch.
I don't think it's $70.
Oh no, I paid 70 for the 72 hour,
So you
but
pay-
it is 60.
So you pay $70 for this game. You boot it up, you pick your character, and let's say 6 hours later, you're into this game, and then all of a sudden the credits roll. Game over. How do you feel? How are you feeling?
Is that just story or is that like with everything included?
That's like, yeah, you can do some extra quests and stuff, but like, that's pretty
But
much the
that's
meat of
it,
the
huh?
game. Are you happy?
No. Okay. So I wouldn't be happy with
vibrating.
the overall game. I would just be happy that they finally worked on something, and I would expect that the next game would have a lot more. But overall, would I be happy? Hell no. I would like, that's it? That's all I get? And as a matter of fact, if they rolled credits and was like, by the way, you can't go back in, you have to start the game all over. Yeah, no, that's a wrap.
That's
We're
my
done with that.
transition into talking about game length, because I seen a tweet last week,
Oh, we're gonna be back on the game link. This
and
week?
and this guy was legit mad. He thought that God of War Ragnarok was just ridiculously way too long, and he was mad about it. He wanted like a tight 10 to 15 hour game. And I was thinking about that. I was like, man, I don't think I've ever thought a game was too long unless I wasn't enjoying it. I don't think I would ever be like, oh, this game's just too long. Why is this game so long? If I'm enjoying the game, I don't think length doesn't matter at that point. I think it don't, like, for me, the only time if a game's not, if I'm not really feeling it, like, all right, I just want to get to the credits so I can get to the next game. If I'm loving a game, I don't, unless like what makes it long is like tedious, boring shit that feels out of place. But I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
if you're just like loving the game and everything you're doing, you're just the combat or the whatever the mechanics of the game are really fun to play. Like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for Terrell. Like, it's just, I had a lot of fun doing combat in that game too. Like, I really thought it was fun. I wasn't like, man, I can't believe I got 100 hours to, so I can beat these tyrants or something. Like, if I'm having fun, I just never think about it being quote unquote too long. Now, if I'm having fun and the game ends abruptly or shorter than I expected, then I'd be like, man, I wish that kept going or something. So
Yeah.
I find it, to me, if you say the game's too long, I just feel like you're not liking the game at that point. I don't know. That's my thoughts.
So there's a little known game, and I used to knock it a lot. So whoever's favorite game this is, don't kill me. But there was a little known game called Wind Waker, where at a point you pick up the Master Sword and you're like, yes, now we can hurry up and do these quests, and I can finally go back at Ganon. And then I feel like they fluff you with, hey, go take this crane and go find this one. The GameCube version.
Man. GameCube again. Go ahead.
And that is, to me, because like I was all into that game until that moment, and I'm like, yo, you guys fluffed the hell out of this, and it's unnecessary that I have to keep using this damn thing where I have to move up an inch. Oh nope, gotta Wind Waker it, and I gotta turn. And move up the inch up.
Let me
Nope,
open
you
the
went too
map.
far.
Oh wait, shit! I'm not even close to the X now. What the fuck?
Yeah, that killed that game.
That wasn't
but
fun. You didn't think that was fun?
Absolutely not. And
Retro
then,
did.
but,
Retro loved every second of that.
but
That crane,
not
how slow it
until-
goes down.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did I get it?
Nope.
The sea
Comes
is
up
deep,
empty.
Man. Like, what do you want me to say? The sea is deep.
See, if this was any other
I
game,
could swim in it. I can tell you.
this is the funny thing about Retro defending Wind Waker for that stuff is if this was
See?
any other game, that would be a Retro death, like top of his list of complaints.
Yeah,
But
you can't
for
swim
some
in it,
reason,
and you can't see under it.
it's
so
a very
The
Retro death
reason-
like
trash.
thing.
The
Trash.
reason, the reason I enjoy Wind Waker, I've always said this from the start. Wind Waker is top 3 great games, biggest adventures ever. It's an immersive experience. I feel sailing on the sea is something I loved so much. So yeah, when you have the Triforce quest, I'm like, fuck yeah, let me sail these seas and locate these things, and then
No, he's talking about the little itty gritty when you're off by just a little bit,
Yeah,
and you're like,
little bit.
fuck,
Yeah.
and then you got to keep moving.
Yeah,
out
but
of
like
the
the treasure
merchant.
stuff. Like, yeah, like I'm on the waves, I see the treasure, I go there, oh, let me just sail over there, and then I go to the treasure, wonder what it is, that's
What
part of
happens
it.
when
Like,
you
I-
miss
oh,
5
yeah.
times though?
There's nothing more immersive than having to pull out your Wind Waker every 5 seconds to get some wind.
You know what I'm saying? Go 2 inches.
No, I don't know why this is a problem, because even if you don't use the sail, you can do the
You can
taxi
slowly
thing with the
move.
boat. You hold the button, you can slowly
Yeah.
move and
But-
go.
Yeah.
I don't see why that's such a big
What my
problem.
point is
I got
That-
other shit to do. I got
that little every time you drop it down and oh shit, you weren't quite lined up, then you got to readjust, and then you got to look at the map.
Hold around.
If there was ever something I would expect Retro Death to complain about, be top 5, top 3 complaints for a game, that is something. I'm just saying that something feels so Retro Death to me that would be something you would nitpick. And it isn't. That's just why I found it interesting.
Don't take my word for it or our word for it. Take Nintendo's word
But
for it.
anyway,
They
we're
said
not
it
talking about
was
Wind Waker. We're talking about game length. So
Yeah, but no, okay. So to go back to the point, but that's what completely changed the immersion of that game. So it was like that game was fun to me up until that point, but it all changed with the Wii U. So the point that I was kind of making was sometimes it's not necessarily the length that makes the game that valuable. Sometimes it is just how much padding there is or is not in the game that really changes the value. Because if you get too much padding, then you're like, wow, they put a whole lot in here that I absolutely do not care
just
about.
like
and
Xenoblade
that's why they're
Chronicles
trying to-
3, a lot of side quests to me are just.
Oh, I got a good
absolute-
one. I can't wait
Like
till you come to
Xenoblade
me.
Chronicles Torna.
I got a great one. I can't wait till you come to me.
All right, so let me just while we're still talking about that, that's an example of hours being, let's say, I don't know what the time to beat for Wind Waker is on GameCube, maybe 30 hours,
15
20.
hours.
I was gonna say,
Because of all that, to
No,
me,
it's gotta be longer than that.
that's a situation where I'm not just looking
it
at
up.
the amount of
Let's do
hours
those
I had
three.
into the game. If I'm thinking about all the major things, I always felt Wind Waker was short. Like I know they added padding, which was annoying, but I felt like the game felt, and this is before I knew anything. I always felt like
Why? did you
because
feel
all
that
the
way?
previous Zelda games you had, well, the two my two favorites, Links to the Past and Ocarina, you did 3 dungeons and then you got 8 more after that. So that was the template in my mind I was going in expecting. And
That's
I
what I was
know
trying to get at.
technically, what is there, like 5 or something in the end, if you count the
That's like,
fortress.
like 10, 14 fucking dungeons
No.
in Goddamn Wind Waker. We have the discussion so often.
You count
So-
the
and I
fortress
once
as
gave-
2,
I
even
once
though
gave-
Man.
because you enter fortress once, you have to sneak. Like, yeah, you go back to it. Even if you don't count that as 2 and as 1, like I can give you the whole fucking list again, You got like the Earth
Five,
and the Wind Temple, you got like the fortress twice. You have like the Jungle Temple, you have the Earth and Fire one. You have the Temple of the Gods. Without counting, without trying, I have 7 already. Without trying.
But
Like, I
I'll
don't
say,
know
I'll
why
say,
you
I'll
think
say.
there's
Do you
no
want to? Do
dungeons
you want to
in Wind
know the
Waker.
number in terms of what they list?
yeah,
Yes.
It's 7. It's 7.
See?
14.
Without trying. I got
So how'd
all
you
of
get
them.
to? So get to 14 now.
Because I don't know which one because maybe he mentioned, I don't know, just all the main story ones. There's more.
Yeah,
than
well,
that in the game.
it says you got Forsaken Fortress, Dragon's Cavern, Forbidden Forest, Tower of the Gods, Earth Temple, Wind Temple, Ganon's Tower.
Yeah.
Those
For
are-
me, it's
that's
Oh, see,
light.
he's
Six,
already missing
I
some because
got
you had
going
like
through
the lava ice one, for example. Like there's more than that in the game. Maybe those are just the ones story wise that you need.
Yeah, I mean that's what I see listed in terms of what they list for dungeons, but I don't know.
Whether we have this argument again, we got to get off Wind Waker. So let's move to a different game.
Yeah, I want to get to my game.
Yeah.
When you're talking about Game Link, because it's very similar. It's funny. It's very similar to what happened in Wind Waker, and this is on a system before the GameCube. It was N64. And I thought about this because somebody on Twitter recently asked me to do a video on this game, and I thought about it. I started thinking about the game. I was like, oh yeah, there was that one thing though. I love this game to death, but it did that bullshit Wind Waker thing, to where it's like, oh, now go back through every fucking level you already went through and save these little teddy bear people that you've been letting get blowed up the whole time. So the game is Jet Force Gemini. Love the fucking game. It's not a perfect game. It's not a perfect game. The controls take a while. You never master the controls. You can get used to them, but you never really master them. But you're going through, you're blasting through. Beautiful game. It's like playing like a cartoony version of Star Wars. You're going through all these different planets. You're seeing all these different enemies. All this cool stuff. It blew my mind on the N64 when it came out back in the day. And you get to a part where you think, all right, I'm ready to go battle the main guy. And it's probably like 15 hours in. And you get to this guy and he's like, oh, you need a special part to get to the area where Mizar is. And I'm not going to give you that part until you go save all my teddy bear motherfuckers. You gotta save every teddy bear person in the game. Every one of them. Not, not a few per level. You got it. So you went through this whole game already. You had no idea you could have been saving these motherfuckers and saving time, saving them as you were going through. So if you didn't do that, you had to go through the entire game, every ounce of this game, and find they call tribals. You got to find all of them and save every one of them. And some of them are sitting by explosive barrels.
Do something like that,
Rob? It is bullshit. It is bullshit. Some of them are sitting in front of explosive barrels with an enemy standing right next to them. And you hit them, you blow them up, you got to go all the way, start over again. It's some bullshit. Yes. And that's the kind of thing that kills a great game.
Yes,
it is a great game. See, I think they did that shit.
Yeah. Well, that's why for me, when it comes to game length, it's about if you really enjoy a game, like, oh yeah, make it as long as you want,
Yeah.
But with something, but there's something really good about just having a strong, cohesive package.
Right. And that's the thing. Let me quickly say that I wanted to make that point. The problem is the game was beautifully paced up until that point. I probably got 12, 13 hours in the game. That is great. That was for an N64 game. That's great. So I didn't need the extra padding to go back and do all that stuff. Like that was the huge problem. But go ahead. Sorry.
I think about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna that I recently played. I think about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I think about Recore. I think about these games where literally it was like that where they say, oh, this is a side content, don't worry about it. You don't even gotta look the direction. Don't worry about for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's like, yeah, you level up, but don't worry about it. You'll get through the ranks and it's all right. But by the way, in order to get to this village, you should be level 30 levels higher than you. So how do I do that? Well, you gotta maybe play these side objectives that I'm like, all right, shit. So I gotta play a million of these, and then by the time the game's over, I play 90 hours, and half of that is all side stuff. And I'm like, all right, well, while it was technically fun and I enjoyed it at some points, it would have been a lot better, more cohesive, more fun package.
So what's the how to beat time on that game?
That's the Ubisoft's bullshit.
Because I know you had somebody here had a similar issue with Xenoblade Chronicles X. I'm like, I was never under leveled ever when I got to about. I was always over, and I feel like it was just because I just was so inclined to take on every battle.
The main story, which still I think that's short. I'm so surprised, is 60 and a half hours, which is long
that's a pretty long first.
That's long, and
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, for Valhalla. Dude, that thing was. You want to talk about pacing?
And I hear most people say 100+ hours they're playing it.
I played 90 hours of that game.
Yeah.
And for me, Assassin's Creed, that was my first Assassin's Creed ever. So it's and I'm not even gonna lie. For me, when I see a game that says it's 40+ hours, considering especially a lot of the amount of games I play, I look at that and I take a second look. I'm like, let me watch this trailer again. Let me see how if I'm really that interested in playing it. And you know, like and I will be like, and I'll debate.
Yeah.
See,
And
that's
I'm like, all
funny.
right, yeah, I'll play
I'm
it.
like
Or
the opposite. Like if I see
yeah,
a game's like, you know, 20, like somebody said Horizon Forbidden West was 30-hour. IGN's review was 29 hours with side
yeah.
content. I'm like, oh man, that sucks.
Yeah.
See, to me,
Like,
I'm like 29 hours. I'm like, okay,
I'm
that's a
like,
time commitment.
that's too fucking
I'm like,
short.
That's great for me. I'm like,
See,
29,
right
30
now,
hours
like
for an
right
adventure
now,
game? That's great.
like right now, Tales of Arise is according to how long to be the average time is like for the main story alone. It's not so retro, not including side content. Because I know you're gonna be like, what do you mean? I played 70 hours of it already. But it's like 41 hours for the main story apparently, and oh, you what is it?
No,
Like,
go
See,
ahead.
that sounds great if it's a great game. I mean,
it's
I'd
like
love
it's
that.
me that
The
me
thing that I wanted to
That's not
say,
bad at all, actually. For especially for an RPG, that's not bad.
RPG, that's right.
no,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
also the thing is for Tales of games, that's apparently like around what you would normally get for like
Yeah.
for a Tales
I don't
game.
know if you're finishing Symphonia.
But what I
40
was saying
hours,
is what I was
or-
saying was like what I was saying was like, all right, well, I maybe look and I'm like, all right, that's gonna be a couple weeks at least for me. I'm like, let me look at let me look. I'm like that combat looks cool. That world looks cool. I'm like, I'll play it. But there have been games where I'm like, if it's where it's where it's like too long to the point where I'm like, damn, I'm like, I'm interested in it, but I don't know if I'm really want to sit
Well,
down
if
and
somebody
do
told me like Persona 5 is 100 hours,
yeah.
I was probably
It's
not going to play it
120.
anyway. I'm definitely not going to play it when I
That's
hear
what I
that.
like. Yeah,
Not because it's 100,
No,
You
because
just
it's-
horrify me.
because
Don't
of
ever smile
Persona
like that ever
5.
Sandstorm.
well, that's what I'm saying. So, but then at the same time, then you got games like the longest game I played in a while was Ace Attorney Chronicles. Technically, it's 2 games, one, and that was 90 hours or whatever I played. And I was like, shit, but I really want to play this because I know, like I really want to try this series, and it turned out to be fantastic. I absolutely loved every second. But it really just depends on the pacing. If the pacing and if it's a well-made package, it doesn't matter how long it is.
It doesn't feel like
Yeah.
fluff.
I think
Because
I
then you
view this-
got.
It just
Let
has to
Retro-
matter
let
on the
Retro
pacing.
go.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, go ahead, Retro.
I think I view this stuff very differently than everybody else when it comes to game length. First of all, I think there's
Like
two
everything else
discussions.
in gaming.
I think there's two discussions going on now. And
Yeah.
while I hate certain padding in game, I do not count padding as like an obstacle to the game's length. Like, yeah, shoot like a Recore and like Jet with Gemini, have that shit. No, it's bullshit, But I don't
Yeah.
see that as like, oh, this is like artificially inflating the game length. The way I see a game is like, if I enjoy playing a game, I will make it last. I will enjoy it. I'll
Yeah.
put the hours in there. And if a game is short by design, then fine, and I'll play it short by design.
Mhm.
Like Juice used in the very beginning, the Hogwarts Legacy thing, like, oh, like Sandstorm, it was like 6 hours. Would you hate it? And in my head, I'm like, well, based on this small trail alone, I already know I'm gonna get more than 6 hours out of it. So I'm mentally
Yeah.
preparing to the length of the game.
Well, I was just
But I mean,
saying,
like,
it was a
Well, we
hypothetical.
were
If
talking
the,
about like no, we were talking about Xenoblade 2 again. Robert used it, and I was waiting for him to use that example. When I've said this before, when
Yeah.
Robert and I reached the exact same point in like chapter 4 or 5 when you come to Endor, Robert had 30 hours in the game. I was at 90 fucking hours, and I didn't even do that many side quests at that
Yeah, you
point.
did. Yeah,
So
you,
people just play
you dipped
games
around.
differently.
Well, no, but
Like-
again, that's you
look,
must have done a
I
lot
can
of side
use-
quests. There's
I
no
can
way
use
you
this-
did it.
I
Not
can use
true.
the
No, Robert, I think you
can
just
use
wandered.
The simplest example. Shit fest that is fucking Minecraft. There's nothing to do in this fucking game but build, You're just building.
More than
But
that,
like
yeah.
half of the time in a game that looks this fucking shitty, because it still looks shitty, I'm like looking at the sunset,
Wow.
I'm looking at the sunset, I'm like looking at like the moon going up, I'm like looking at what's going
Retro
around
never
me.
changed, y'all.
That's a
Never
game that
changed.
has nothing. So when you have a game that has all the substance already, like a lot of my playtime is just inflated by the fact that I want to be in this game. I want to be in this world, and that alone makes the game time
Yeah.
longer. That's
Yeah.
why my Wind Waker experience is different, because I enjoy being on this ocean in this world. I'm just having a blast sailing around. And if it's a game that I don't like, that I don't enjoy this much, sorry, Juice, like Control, where I'm like, dude, get me out of this fucking game. I'm just gonna skip all the reading shit and I just go to the end, and I can make the game shorter if I want to make it
well,
shorter.
that was the point in the beginning.
Well, not really make. Well,
there's-
yeah, I guess again, everyone plays games differently, right? But realistically speaking, Retro, if you were to just keep moving along and actually play the game, it's nuts to somehow if you I need to sit down. I need to sit down on the couch with you, just watch you play, because I can't comprehend how you somehow triple for Xenoblade, and you said I didn't do much side content. So what did you do?
No, I see.
know that hard.
Which one? Xenoblade 3?
No, this was Xenoblade 2. Like I
I
spent
don't
a
know how you
lot
do
of
it
the
in
time.
Xenoblade 2.
I spent a lot of the time in Xenoblade 2 just walking around, looking at everything, observing what people are doing. They're walking around. What's this person doing? Oh, I'm looking at
They
the
don't do
clouds.
shit. The NPCs aren't like that in Xenoblade.
I did a lot of that.
That's not how I play.
You
the
could
game.
do that as you could look at that stuff as you're actually accomplishing stuff too. You don't.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah, but
you
I
do
don't
that.
wanna do
No.
at the same time.
I'm going to defend
I wanna
Retro
see-
here.
I
I'm going
wanna
to defend
see
him.
the-
I mean, no. I don't mind. Obviously, Retro would play.
I want to wake up, take a bath. I want to make some coffee. I want to drink.
My thing is, I can't see myself having done that in Xenoblade 2, but I certainly did that in Xenoblade Chronicles X, where I just wasted so much goddamn time just trying to get as far as I can get, see the world, because I just love the world in that game. But for me, 2 was too disjointed to do that, to have that, because it's very segmented.
For example,
Whereas Xenoblade Chronicles was a big giant world altogether.
So there's two
in 2,
different
for
examples.
example, you have the Argentum Guild, this marketplace.
Yeah.
And like, I'm the kind of gamer, maybe I'm different, I don't know. Like, I look at these
You are.
stalls, I go, what kind of fruit do you have? This fruit program. Is it a flat texture? Do I see 3D
Retro,
fruit?
what?
I'm looking at this fruit, somebody's walking by.
And you can't interact with that, so why are you wasting your time?
I want to put this in
I
context.
think that's great because you get to
No. Wait. I want to put this in context. I love Xenoblade 2. I absolutely love that game. And even I wasn't sitting there looking at these motherfuckers cook this two-dimensional ass food on a fucking stove. Talking about, hey man, look at it. What herbs and spices are you using?
In your defense,
Are you using paprika? What is that? Is that sea salt? What the fuck?
You were literally every developer's dream player. You know what I mean? Like, for sure. Like, every artist's dream player. Like, that is... I give you all the credit because, of course, you would want that.
I get it. I do that a lot, too, where I'm basically trying to break the game. I'm doing things that I probably shouldn't be doing. I'm going to areas and trying to explore shit that I have no business going. Sometimes I waste too much time in the game doing that. So I get that.
I get it.
Plague Tale Innocence, for sure.
In your defense,
I did that shit in Plague Tale all the
With
time.
Cyberpunk, I was looking at the
literally
pizza.
two
I took
examples.
photos of the pizza and stuff because I thought it was like
You
really
count the amount of
flat.
pepperonis on that bitch?
I was like, why is this shit so N64 looking?
Yo, dude, when River stirring his gumbo, it looked like, like a 3DS or DS fucking cooking game. It's so bad looking.
Cooking mama.
I can't believe how bad it looks.
So in Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I know it's not exactly like 2, but I spent the first 3 weeks in that game, and I think I clocked around 70 hours, and I hadn't even started chapter 3. And I spent most of that time either fighting, collecting stuff, or walking around watching people to see where they're going. Bro, where you going at? Like, just because whether, and this is the only time.
Oh, I just saw Epona.
There's another time that
Robert,
I've done
I saw
that.
Epona on your screen.
Oh, you saw one of the horses?
But I've done that in this game to see exactly like how far does the interaction go with all these characters? Like, do they have a loop that they just kind of go back around and forth on? And the only other game that I did that for, and now all of you can agree with this, is the only game that technically everything else outside of this point is padding, is Breath of the Wild. Because literally after you beat that starting area, you can go and you can beat the game. Everything out there, whether you like it or not, whether it's true or not, everything outside of that is padding. Everything outside of having that, because you don't have to do.
I would say there's a difference between padding
I disagree.
and optional stuff.
No.
Padding's
here's
forced. Optional
but
is-
yeah, exactly. So here, I would agree with you.
So padding isn't necessarily like, oh, this is like extra stuff that is.
I think padding's forced stuff when you say padding.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So, but they literally tell you really only have one job, and that's to kill game.
But that doesn't make it
So,
padding.
like,
that makes it side
that's
content.
a side
if anything.
quest. Exactly. But
That's
that's
not padding, though.
us. that's us and our opinion about it. That's something that we would choose to do because we want to do it. Like Retro said, like he doesn't mind doing all the treasure stuff. To him, that's not padding. That's just extra that he wants to do. You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, that's what we're saying.
Like,
It's, we don't. I think padding gets used when it's forced. When you can't get past this point unless you go to this backtracking bullshit. That's what people call padding. I don't think anybody. I don't think anybody calls side optional content padding. That's just
we don't call side quests padding.
You don't have to do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
The thing that made, because the issue comes up is that people, because that was my main thing. It's like I don't really pay attention to a game's length as much because to me, if you play a lot of RPGs, you kind of accept it. Some games are gonna be long as fuck, some games are gonna be short as fuck.
Yeah.
So, but what I don't like, and it's usually when it clashes with the narrative of a game, is when you're doing something in the story, you're really invested in the story, and the game's like, hold up. I think you need to go pick up some trash real quick, and like you fucking in the game locks you out of story content because you got to go do this mission, and it's normally considered a side mission, but for the sake of this point in the game, hey man, like Yakuza does it sometimes, where it's like, hey man, I don't think you gambled today. What do you mean you want to figure out this whole plot going on with the various Yakuza members and the various families? Nah, fuck that. You need to go. I need you to go to the casino real quick. Go to the casino. I need you to run these fucking play some craps real quick.
Game that came out last year that does that was in the game of the year. Was it in game of the year?
What?
Certain things. Stray does that. I was rolling along, or I guess running along as the cat, enjoying myself, and then it started throwing this bullshit padding at me, and I'm like, this is taking me out of the cool experiences I'm having, and that's why the game kind of went down notches for me. I don't like that. I think most people don't like it when you do that because the world is very interesting and cool on its own. You can just run around and explore it yourself and find cool things. But when you were forcing things in my face when I should be on this cool path that I was on earlier, that's when you're pacing and padding.
I think Retro might agree with me. Skyward Sword. There's a point where you're like, oh, you got to go back to Elden Volcano and like grab this thing. I forget what it was.
10 out of 10, IGN.
And then you have to like go through the same area again. And I was like, I was a little bummed when that happened. You know, that to me, like unnecessary backtracking. Some of that feels like, hey, they just wanted to extend the length of the game. And in that,
like hitting the toes of fucking.
I would say in that regard, I would say a game length is a negative.
His toes again. This is exciting.
But
see, that is fucking padding. There's no goddamn reason you have to fight that bitch like 3 times in one game.
Or those fucking tiers, the tier quests.
Almost like in
shit was not fun.
Phantom Hourglass when you just gotta keep going back into the same dungeon, or Metroid Prime Hunters where you keep fighting the same fucking cylinder boss over and over.
You know what game makes you go into the same dungeon and it's actually really cool and fun and it takes you in a different direction? Ocarina of Time. You get to go in the same dungeon, but you go in this whole other area that you can only access when you're a child Link.
Mm-hmm.
Like that shit is awesome.
Yeah.
And it's after you become adult Link, you're like, holy
I feel
shit,
that's not the same. I feel
to.
that's just really incredible design.
That's great design.
Because it's not like it's the whole, like it's just the same dungeon. You have to like go traverse twice, you know, but it's not exactly the same version.
That's my point.
That's why it's good. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, that's why it's good. Yeah.
And just getting off the padding and stuff, just in general, like for me, I said this in the group chat, when I was 15, 14, I had to mow lawns. I got $15 a lawn, and you know, grass in the summer, unless they're watering, it don't grow that quick. So you're like, maybe make in a month, I maybe have enough to buy a Super NES game. So for me, I had to pick a game that I was going to get a lot of time out of. I didn't want to. I wasn't going to work a month, buy a $60 game. Like Donkey Kong Country was one of the games that
was like
disappointed me because I get it.
For real?
And that on my birthday, and you know, I saved up all the money, bought it on my birthday at launch, and I go to my buddy's house, stayed the night, and within I don't know, 4 or 5 hours, it felt like we had the game beat, and I was like, damn.
You finished the game in 4 to 5 hours.
I got home.
That's fast.
Maybe it was 6. I don't know, but it felt like it was by like midnight, and we already beat the game, and I was like, I know there's extra stuff. There was like the Kong letters I didn't get all that done, but I was like, man, I'm watching the credits roll on the same night I bought the game. I was so bummed. I mean, I played it more after that, but
It happened a lot.
5
in that
hours
era,
just
though.
not leaving the water level so I can listen to aquatic
games were just are on shorter back then anyway.
So for me, I kind of still have that mentality where Robert's like excited when a game's shorter because you're trying to. I mean, you have this goal of playing a lot of as many games as you can really that you're interested in.
You say anything that interests me, but that's why I'm saying like if like there's a game that interests me and I see it's like really long, it does make me go.
See, I'm the opposite. When I see it short, like the Resident Evil 3 remake, I'm like, oh, I'm out. I ain't paying $60 for no 5-hour game or whatever it is, 4 hours, 5 hours.
I find a retro aspect actually.
Because you don't have any kids and you're not married. When you get married, have some kids, you thankful for those fucking short ass games. Oh, thank God, I don't have to spend 50 hours in this shit. I got to go change some diapers or something.
I find the retro aspect that you brought up, Juice, actually very interesting because like. I lived that too, but like I grew out of it differently in a way where when you're a kid, now you have like hundreds fucking of games, there's endless of games.
Right, that's the difference.
As a kid, you had like 10 to 20 games maybe, you had like a little case with like a few of your games in there. That's what you had. That's why everybody kind of has their favorites and stuff. But so like, you get a game, you play it, it's like a different design because it's like arcade design. Games were like artificially way too hard. So that you get more time out of it. But like, no, so you play a game, but like, it's like when your game was over, it's not, I didn't feel like, okay, now I'm done with this game. It's like, no, I'll try a different game. And later I go back to that game, I get so much time out of those few games that you have that's why now I get so much more time out of my games because I just get more time out of it. Really.
You lick the Oreo cream out.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you eat the cookie later.
I still feel I do that
every
though.
Little rabbit that you find and you just follow where it's going. Where's its home? I gotta learn its.
Yeah, he plays Horizon and he's like, oh, where's this turkey? Let me follow this turkey around. See what it does. See if it goes.
Oh, it just walked into a tree and disappeared.
All right, amazing. Where is this tree that? No, well, you go and you look at the tree. It's like, but damn, this tree's nice looking. Hold on a second.
And in Breath of the Wild, you're like, there might be some bird eggs up there. Let me climb this tree.
Yeah.
We were talking about GoldenEye earlier. Have you ever played it to where you were in the bathroom so long, the game just says, fuck it. Like all the scientists start running. Scientists ran into the bathroom in the facility level.
No.
Have you ever played?
What?
Try it.
Yeah.
Play GoldenEye. Just sit in the fucking bathroom as long as you can take it. And the fucking scientists will start running in there. It's really? The funniest shit ever. I did it. I tried to take a picture the other day because I did it the other day again, but he ran out by the time I fucking.
So I think I'm still looking for value for my money all these years later, but I also do what you do. I still try to get as much out of every game. I mean, I think
you and retro play very similar.
I'm not.
It's just not as excessive.
I'm not gonna go look at something.
OCD, you mean?
Like, I've made this point about your Skyrim comment where you said you had 100 hours, you didn't start the first quest.
I don't get that.
There's so many things.
That's insane.
There's so many things you might have like missed out on. Like, I don't like to. I'll do some exploration, but then I'm like, shit. Like in God, I did this in Ragnarok. As soon as I got one like I knew a path was open up. I went to every area and tried to find that spot, but there's a lot of areas that were still blocked off until you get the ability to change the day-night cycle. And so I wasted probably, I would guess, at least 2 to 3 hours trying to go back because I got this one new ability, but it still didn't unlock much. I should have just waited, played a couple more hours. I would have got this other ability, and then I could have really explored. So I actually wasted some time doing that. So I find I was just gonna say I find it's better to wait till you get some abilities and stuff to like try to go all in with exploration because it's like you'll find like I wish I'd done that with Forbidden West. I wish I kind of got through some of the story and got the bird earlier, the flying ability, instead of doing all that exploration like fast traveling and on foot
That's part of the game, though. See, you regret it based on what you get later. That's just not how I see it. And like the Elder Scrolls is like a terrible example because the reason I have like 90 hours, I still remember that before I did the first quest. Because yeah, you unlocked basic
first
abilities
quest.
in that first quest that I was lacking. The problem with, for example, Skyrim as an example, is that the side quest stories most of the time are way more interesting than the main stories. The side quests in games like
Okay.
Skyrim and Morrowind are so insane where you meet like fucking like gods and like you have all these discussions and crazy shit that happens. And not even in the main quest. So that's what half the time you set out in a direction and like a crazy story unfolds. And like,
Yeah.
oh, let me just do this crazy story. I know I have to get to do the story for the main quest. But let me just see how this goes. But then as you're doing that, you're finding like 3 more side quests that like, man, but I want to see what that, and then you just get lost,
The
man.
90
Yeah,
hours
And at one
yeah,
point,
not a
you're
lot
oh
of
my God,
games
did I
work
even
that way.
start this game? Hold on a second.
Well, if you can do like the side quests where it's not like, oh, you can't do this yet, you don't have the skill or ability, then that wouldn't work. So it'd be like, oh, you just traveled all this way, talk to this person, but you can't actually. If a game was designed where, oh, you can't actually do anything because you don't have this ability yet, then it would be like, to me, that would be. I wish I had just got there after I got the ability. Like that's how I felt about Forbidden West. Like, because I love flying on the bird so much, I was like, man, I wish I had gotten that earlier. Because then I spent a lot of time just flying around doing like rebel camps was probably my least favorite part of the game. When I could have been using that to do the side quests and the main quest, and I would have had a lot more fun instead of just kind of after the fact flying around when I already didn't have I had almost nothing left to do, and I got this awesome ability to fly around. That's an example where I was like, shit, I do wish I had gone through the main stuff quicker because I knew you could get on the bird at some point. I wish I had just gotten
I
that
don't know.
quicker.
Something like that, a mechanic like that, flying around, it can break the game to me because I'm playing Watchdog Legions, and you have the ability to hack stuff, right? So there's this cargo drone that you can basically climb on and fly around the whole fucking map if you want. It's kind of slow, so you don't really want to do it. But I find myself kind of cheesing the game. Like you got to go into certain areas that are like restricted areas, and I'll just fucking hang out on top of
Call
the
up the
cargo
drone,
drone
yeah.
and fucking wreak havoc from above and check out the whole area. And instead, what I should have been doing is going stealthily through that level, that area. So I don't know. I'm kind of two minds with
Well,
that because
I
Do you like
I
the
stopped
game?
fast traveling when
I
I
do.
got that.
I don't love it. I like
Yeah,
it though.
I enjoyed that probably maybe more than Valhalla even, which I know that's probably that's actually a super controversial opinion. I bet
Yeah,
you.
it is.
What?
But
You
I
enjoy what?
probably enjoy that more than Assassin's Creed Valhalla, to be honest with you.
What? Watch Dogs Legions?
Watch Legion, yeah. To
Wasn't
be
as
honest
good
with
as
you.
Immortals though. That's for sure.
Um,
That's I mean that's
yeah,
another
no,
game.
I did like
That Ubisoft
Immortals
formula. Man.
probably better though.
Terrell has that game, I think.
I have to finish it. I still have to finish it.
I feel like Terrell has that game.
You got it, Terrell, right?
Wait, what game?
Immortals.
Phoenix
Oh yeah,
Rising.
yeah, yeah.
I feel like you
Didn't
have
you
that.
get him?
Yeah, I have it.
I did.
Yeah. Or even beat it
Oh, yeah,
before
yeah,
Tears of the Kingdom comes out.
I think I got it for. Did I get it for somebody else?
It's gonna ruin my appetite.
I mean, like,
Did Retro Death get that game too?
I'm glad that T likes Legion though, because like I feel like a lot of people like kind of shit on the game, but
I'll trade you.
enjoy it.
I thought
I
the
do.
thing about
I'm
it
one
is
of them.
that especially for the third in a series, you hope to have that main protagonist that you've been going through with it. So that's what I thought I wouldn't like in the game. And I would say I don't use as many different people as I can. I kind of stick to my top 5 or whatever that I go through the game with, because you can literally have like, I don't know, 50 fucking people that you can play as. But I like I'm not in love with the area. What is it? London? It's like London.
Really, I like the London.
I don't like it because the streets are too congested to me. Like they're too.
Okay.
That's the only problem with it. Other than that, I like it. But yeah, it's. I thought I wouldn't like it as much because I thought it is fun.
So out of everybody here, and if there's anybody else like me where the game length and price factors in to your purchase?
Yeah.
It does.
Just like I said, technically,
if it's
to a
only
certain
10 hours,
degree,
I'm not inclined to spend $60. I'm just.
Oh yeah.
Well, the way I've been
Very
playing,
good.
I haven't really paid full price. For a
Yeah,
game
I was
well
gonna
worth
say
it.
Robert's kind
You
of.
haven't bought anything new.
He doesn't buy games at launch, so
Right.
you've been. That's
I
a good.
rarely play
To be
full price.
fair, that's how you're supposed to do. You're not really supposed to buy shit.
That's
Well,
why
you
I
know,
didn't buy the Dead Space
This is
remake.
the year I'm keeping track of how much money I save, and you want to know how much money I've already saved?
$2,000.
And it's only been no, relax. It's only been like 5 6 but it's
$100.
it's $247.
Wow, you clearly
Hey
you
man,
don't
let
have
me
Game
borrow
Pass.
some money real quick though.
I don't need Game Pass if I'm saving $247.
That's what I'm saying. You clearly that's the joke. You don't have to you save money.
That's one whole year of Game Pass I could get already. If I really
Like,
wanted to.
I don't care about the game's value or a game's length. I see a trailer of a game, I want to play it, I'm gonna buy it. That's all there is to it. Like,
No, I
I'm
get
glad
it. Same
you-
here.
Hey,
Same
listen,
here.
listen, Retro. I'm glad you have
Right.
all this disposable income, bro. I'm glad.
You don't care about
I
the
mean,
value.
I
You gotta
barely
care about the
picked up half-
value to some
I barely
extent.
picked up half the games I wanted last year. You know,
If I'm,
so I
like,
look at which
interested in a
trailer is
game-
most interesting to me, and I pick that one up.
So you're
If
never
I'm interested in a game,
disappointed
for
if a
sure, I'll pick it
game's.
up.
Yeah, you never look at a game and say, "Hey, that game, $70 or $60, it ain't worth it." You know, just you can tell just by like I'm not spending $60 on that.
Yeah.
I'll wait till
Well,
it goes down.
Okay, no, that has happened before.
Yeah.
Where, but just because I think $70 is a lot of money, and I do sometimes think like, well, if I wait a month, it is going to be a little bit cheaper, you know. But then
You
if it
agree.
doesn't get cheaper,
I'll
then
tell you
I'll
right now,
pick it up then.
Oh, he agrees.
I've
I
said
got
it
it.
before.
Hey,
I've
hey,
never spent $70 on any goddamn game. It's just not gonna happen. I'm not doing it.
I fucking paid
Hogwarts
You
$70
didn't do it?
for them Dark
You
Souls
never. You
too.
didn't
I
do
not
it
doing it.
launch.
in
I'm waiting
97,
for it.
98, 99. You don't remember paying 70 back then?
Yeah, but you know what? You're paying for the hardware of the and the software because you have a chipset, you have a plastic casing, you have all that stuff on a fucking disc. I'm paying $70 for something that's not really even on there half the time. No, I ain't doing that. Not doing it.
And not
Or just
not to
digital,
even
or just
consider
digital.
inflation. When my $60 or $70 rent quarterback club with inflation's like $150 today. You know, like
Right.
I've only paid 70 for one game so far, but when I saw the Dead Space remake was 70, I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't have a problem with.
And back then they didn't have you couldn't go buy a game digitally where they can bypass the store, they can bypass the retail space and all that shit. The shit should be cheaper in that sense. But is it? No. So I'll wait till it's actually cheaper.
So it's EA,
You
so
wait-
I'm like,
I will say you wait a little bit, and I
Wait
know
a month and a half.
I know
that shit-
people think I know like yeah, it's a year or whatever. But like man, I got Deathloop, which was initially 60. I got it for like I think it was 15. I got Life is Strange was apparently 60. I got that for like 12. And those are all brand new sealed copies.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. And
see, I
it's,
get
you say-
saving money, but at the same time, if I also want to
don't have
support,
FOMO.
I also
I
want
don't
to
have
support
FOMO.
a developer of a game that I'm,
No, 100%.
you know, like I said,
and
Immortals.
also-
I would have been happy to have paid 60, but instead
No,
of,
I'm okay with paying 60 because I did it for so long.
Oh,
anyway.
yeah.
But it's more
Clearly.
so just the way I'm playing. Like it just happens to be the price.
Yeah.
I was
for it.
gonna say because
Yeah.
like
Clearly, I pay $60 for games all the time. I buy fucking launch Nintendo Switch games. So
Yeah.
I just don't. My thing is I don't see a justification for $70 in this day and era. I just don't see it.
I mean, like, I clearly also want to pay as little as possible. I just don't factor in the value of the game compared to the length of the game. You know,
Yeah, same,
I'm not
same.
being like, I'm not going to pay $70 because I think I'm going to get 2 hours out of it. I'm going to be like, well, if I buy this game now, this game is going to be like a little bit cheaper next month, just because I want to pay less money, not because I factor in the length of the game.
motherfuckers-
So,
Yeah,
but the
record
problem is,
profits, record sales, record profits, and now they got DLC. They got all this extra shit that you pay more for the game for. Don't forget the DLC. They brag about making billions of dollars on DLC alone. Fuck you! I ain't paying $70.
I was just gonna say. I was gonna say the biggest difference is like I paid 70. This is the first $70 game, mind you, that I pay for on PC, which doesn't happen anyway.
I don't have a problem with anybody
They're still
doing it.
at
I'm just
60.
not gonna do it.
But if you think about it, still though, the PS5 version is 70 for the regular version. So
I don't think was it on Hogwarts?
I believe so.
I looked
think
it
it
up. I
is.
thought it was 60, and then
I was gonna
70
say,
for the
the
deluxe
reason-
edition. But I could be wrong.
I
wasn't
did want to
really
say,
looking.
like, I factored in the amount of hours I get in the game, depending on what kind of game it is. Like give an example. If it's something like an open world game, like an Assassin's Creed or Watch Dogs or a Xenoblade, then I'm more willing to spend the money, because even if the main campaign is like 20 or 15 hours, it's an open world game. There's a bunch of side content to do. But if it was like a narrative driven game, like an Uncharted, that's like fucking like 10 hours and I'm spending $70, yeah, you're fucking mind. Because there ain't nothing else I'm doing in that game.
Yeah. And here's another major problem with that.
I don't agree with that.
Oh, the PS4 version is 60.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, the PS.
That makes no sense to me.
So the PS.
It's the same goddamn game.
The PS5 version is 69. And
here's my question: Does it have a free upgrade or anything, or no?
I don't have free what? Does.
Which one?
Yeah.
Like if you bought the PS4 version, you play.
Well, if we take, for instance, Horizon. Horizon was the dumbest one, where it was like Horizon was like PS4 is 60, but PS5 is 70. And by the way, the PS4 version is a free upgrade. And it was like, wait.
Well, that's a situation. What T just said, though. The PS5 version's not on that disc. You're 10, 15 years from now, you put that PS4 disc in your PS5, and you don't have an internet or the server's down. You're only getting the PS4 version. So that's why I buy the PS5 disc, because I wanted the PS5 game on the disc. I didn't want the PS4 game on the disc. Yeah, the deluxe. I paid $60. Legacy is $80. Okay, I didn't know Hogwarts was doing that. It sucks. I don't. Yeah, for PlayStation. That's what I'm saying. PC, the PC. Well, PC is 60. 60 deluxe is 70.
Because they know PC gamers ain't playing that shit.
We don't play that.
They ain't going for that shit.
I think it's stupid.
Let you console peasants do that shit.
So I noticed. Yeah, they started doing that on PC for a few games.
They did it for
Forspoken. They did it for Forspoken.
And you know what happened? They did it for Forspoken, and fucking Hi-Fi Rush outsold it. Mm-hmm. That's what happens. Hi-Fi not just outsold it, but made more revenue. Like, that's different.
Yeah, it's not just the game.
$70 game versus $30 game.
Yeah,
it's like made more money. We had this discussion last week, but Forspoken at 70, that's
I didn't know it was 70.
That looks like a double A game. Yeah, they hired some voice actors and stuff.
It's a double A game.
But I ain't paying $70 for that game. I don't care how long it is.
I would still say I like the way they I've heard someone describe it. It's a double A game parading itself
masking as a triple A.
Yeah, that's literally what it is.
And I was like, if a game's 10 hours, like Bayonetta, but has all this, I guess somebody could get through if they just played each chapter one time. But that game, like we had a whole podcast about, wasn't meant to be played each chapter one time, because there's reasons to go back and play the chapters again.
Right. There are certain genres that you already know are going to have replayability, like open world games, beat 'em ups. You know that's how that goes. But if you're talking about a narrative driven game, that is literally a one shot deal. You
mean like Fallen Order? That had some extra stuff, but I would consider some of that.
I would say the narrative is pretty weak in Fallen Order, actually, compared to I just had more fun with the gameplay of that game.
Yeah.
See, I was less inclined
more
to
like Uncharted sort of thing.
Yeah, Uncharted
also has multiplayer though.
It did.
That's true.
And we're talking to this guy who's played probably hundreds of hours of multiplayer.
Yeah. But I will go back over and over to Uncharted 2. I didn't do not 3 as much. A little bit with 4, but I didn't like the ending of 3 or 4. So that's why they don't have the same replayability for me as 2 does.
And let's be real here. If you bought Uncharted, you didn't buy Uncharted for the multiplayer. You bought it for the main story.
Retro did. Hey man.
Well, listen, Robert. Retro is a retro. Retro is like this creature that exists in another universe. I don't know what the fuck it is, but it's there. Okay,
I feel like
we don't count that as a human. All right.
I have to look.
I was playing like the Uncharted 4 multiplayer for so long until I was like, you know what? Let me just play those fucking games.
Retro, you forgot there was a story. That's what happened.
Like, wait, there's a single player to this?
For what?
You do that with
Why was there a single player to this game? Fucking weirdos.
Yeah. I feel like I want to say I put like 20 hours in Uncharted 4. Like to me that feels like a justified $60 game after playing it.
I definitely don't think I got 20 hours out of it.
Yeah, you got it the same way I get that.
Robert, you got 5
Well, here's the other thing.
No,
Lost Legacy comes out.
Man, it's only 5 hours. What the fuck?
Lost Legacy was a 9-hour experience. They charged $40. That felt right to me. Like,
Yeah.
they knew it. Just like Sonic Frontiers.
It was
$40.
DLC.
Imagine if that was 60. Terrell, Robert, would you have felt happy paying 60 for Sonic Frontiers?
It was very good DLC.
You would have? Not Frontiers,
Yeah.
sorry. Forces.
look.
Forces.
Oh hell no!
Oh, Forces.
Yeah, because that was 40.
No.
I wasn't happy with 40, man.
I wasn't having 40 either. That
But
game should have been 20 at most.
I just-
No,
And
the
then I
game
would have
should
been
have just
offended.
not been made.
Dude, I got Forces for
I ain't
free
buying
on
that shit at
Xbox,
any
so-
price. I'll tell you that right now.
I bought it out of abuse.
I just
I'm
can't-
I'm a victim.
I can't
Yeah.
get
The guy who
over.
bought Balan won the world 3 times.
To me, the length is completely 100% related to the value of the price. Like,
Okay.
but doesn't mean
I
if the
kind of agree.
if the developer of Hollow Knight, what, 3 guys worked on it, they charged $15. Yeah, that game easily could be a $40 game based on what's in there.
What about 60?
Yeah, some people put 90 hours in that fucking thing.
I mean, I don't know if I don't know if 60 would have.
But it.
It's a really good game. It's hard. That's one's kind of hard, but at the same time,
Right.
they took a gamble and they did an aggressive price point. Hellblade, they did the
Yeah.
same thing. They did a $30 price point. That was an aggressive. I think Hi-Fi Rush was the same thing.
Hi-Fi Rush.
We're going to be aggressive with this price
That's
point.
a
They didn't pay for
14-hour
any
game.
advertising, so that's a lot of money.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is that yeah? Which by the way, Hi-Fi Rush. You want to talk about Metacritic score? So far, you want to guess that, Juice? What it is?
I think I already saw somebody saying
Oh,
it
you
was
saw
like
it.
89
Alright.
or something.
80.
Yeah, it was like an 89.
Is it
or
an 89? Holy.
It might have went down to 88.
But
It's a very
Game
good
of the
game.
year. Game of the year.
I
lineup.
can't.
I put it in there right now.
PC is 89, but
Too early.
I can't bring myself to spend $60 on like a 5-hour game. I can't do it. I don't care.
well,
what-
to be fair, if you go back to my when Order 1886 came out, and
I was going to say, nobody's
don't
gonna
bring that-
Order
don't bring
18.
that
and,
up.
and that
Don't
game was
bring that up.
$60. It was 5 hours, right?
It wasn't
And-
worth it.
It wasn't even
and
5 hours.
I made-
You added
I made-
cutscenes.
Yeah, I made a giant rant video when I was like 15 years old. Said you are not a real gamer if you pick up this game. You know, I was like, do
Wait,
not
he was
spend
gatekeeping
money.
at 15.
because you're
y'all.
not even barely
Yeah, do
doing
not
anything
spend
in the
money on
game.
This is a shame, you know, and you know, now I'm more relaxed on it. I'm like, all right, relax, man. You know, people pick up
Don't
shit. It
forget
is what it
the
is.
You wouldn't
cinematic.
buy it again, would you?
You know,
What was
no,
it,
but the thing is it's just like I do think that like if it's like a 4-hour game and it's there's nothing else to it. It's $60. I would probably be like, well, why?
Linear as
Gotta
hell.
be-
Because then
you
you gotta
know-
look at how much it actually costs them to make the game too. Like, if you're, how long is it gonna take to make? I mean, I guess if it's 4 hours, there maybe it could be a bunch of voice acting or stuff, but still, like
maybe
compared to the time and effort to make,
maybe it's the
something-
most expensive game somehow. Like
Four, 4 hours, that's like an episode. If you're spending $60 on a
That's like
Nah,
a demo. I mean,
But see,
honestly.
but again, you know,
Oh,
Robert,
I don't know about a demo, yo. Relax.
episodic game,
because I
There's
know,
plenty of,
Robert,
like-
you like to look at like how long it takes for people to finish a game, and you base it off that. But it's like you do realize that most
no.
games.
He's not
for
basing it.
example, like
That's
most
a-
games,
that's a
like for
factor.
example. Oh yeah, no, but it's a big. But I mean, you have games, especially on like the NES and like old games and stuff, and like even like something like Super Mario 64. You know that most of these games you can finish them in 5 to 10 minutes, and then you're
You know
done with the game. You
Okay,
do know
and
that.
if you
You know that was
glitch
30
in
years
and
ago, right? It was-
break it
What I
and-
found about
Gaming
Breath
was-
of the Wild.
You can't beat Mario
You speed
64
run
in
it,
5
you
10
played
minutes.
a million times.
you can't.
I mean,
That's what I said about Breath of the Wild.
I think the world record for Super Mario 64
Yeah,
is
Yeah,
something
but it's
like.
breaking the
yeah, but you
game.
gotta know how to play the
Game,
fucking.
I'm
You
just
would
saying.
have to play through it, yo. You'd have to.
I would
know.
guess
But
my-
I'm just saying that's the length of the game. You know, you should take
That's
it.
not the
yeah,
length of
no,
the game.
it's-
That's
come
that's like
You're better
doing
than that,
the
man.
Yeah.
and
If
then
you would have
they're-
paid, what was the N64? $199 or $249?
It was $199.
$199 plus $49.99 for Mario 64, and all it was you go in, the first 3 paintings you could jump through, and that was the game. You're telling me after all buying a new console, all the hype, you would have been like, "Oh yeah, that's fine. I'm
I'd have
happy."
been pissed.
You didn't even need to jump into painting. I think you
No,
maybe
I
need
don't
to get
know.
like one star to finish it.
How lame would
But
that
that's
have
why
been?
exactly by glitching it. Come on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. If the entire game you just bought a
That's
new
at least one painting,
N64
right? No,
and the game, and all it had was the 3 worlds, 3 paintings total. That was the entire game. There's 7, 8 stars in each one. You think
But,
you
like-
would have been? You think you would have been fine with that? Oh, this is a great. Oh my God, greatest game ever made. No, they would just.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying because
I don't
I
know.
can get
To be
way
fair, we don't
more
live in
out of
that
that. I'm
reality.
saying Robert, he doesn't need more out of that. He just wants to finish it and then he's done with it.
No, bro. Yeah, but what I'm also saying is, in order to know how to do those speedrun things, you don't just come. I know how to do this. Watch.
it takes a lot of hours to
20
know to
minutes.
do that.
You got to probably have hundreds of hours
Because
in
now
the
we're
game to
taking a
figure out
Super
how
Mario
to beat it.
64 with like speedrun things, but you have like the original Super Mario Brothers, like no glitches and stuff. The world record is like fucking under
Yeah,
5
but that's
minutes.
an NES game.
Ask that man how many
Again,
times he's played
that's
the damn
40
game
years
to get
ago.
to that point.
And that game was fun playing over and over and over. Like,
Right, the replay
but
value
yeah.
in that game was through the roof.
technically, you
And-
could say Contra was short, but me and my cousin played it till the sun came up because we just kept playing, beating it, and starting over, beating it. You know, that was a different
Yeah, but
era.
don't get me wrong, a lot of
Did
those
you beat
games,
it without
a lot
the
of those,
Contra code?
We didn't need it. We only died once,
Konami
maybe
code.
once each.
Right. That's when you're a G. Don't
see a
use
lot
that
of those,
Konami.
a lot of those games, yeah. Are
I
only
did that
like
shit
an
on
hour
live
or
stream,
two.
by the way, so I can put that out there. No continues either. No continues. It's on.
I had
it's on the
trouble
channel.
with
Check it out.
the tank thing that comes at you. What was that world?
Mm.
I had trouble by myself with that one, but
But
yeah,
to be fair though, at the same time, I'm saying all this for like these new games, right? But then I sit here and I go on eBay and I pick up these older games for these exorbitant
Ridiculous
prices, and they could be 8 hours a game.
Yeah,
But,
but you do that for obviously the culture, the love of gaming, but
Yeah.
also the value in those games ain't the same
No.
as what it is today. There is
Yeah, I guess
there's
so.
a higher value in those older
there's a
games.
paper box, there's the cartridge that
Right.
Yeah, yes,
know,
yeah.
it's harder to keep.
And you can resell it if you wanted to, if you needed to,
Yeah.
for more than what you bought it for at some point.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway,
it's
It's-
nice.
we better wrap
Yeah.
this up. I don't know why the chat's not working. The OBS had an update, and I did it right before the podcast, so something's going on. So the chat wasn't showing up on screen. It was all glitchy. But
I've
yeah,
had the chat here like the entire time, so I've been there.
Yeah,
yeah. But I mean, on the stream, like on my screen,
On the stream, you
on
mean.
the screen.
No.
But yeah, fun discussion. We covered a lot of stuff. And we found out some interesting stuff about Retro's
I know
playstyle.
this one.
But yeah, we'll get out of here
Pharrell
and
looks frozen, but he's not. It's hilarious.
No,
maybe next week. Next week we'll be doing our Nintendo Direct impressions, reactions, reviews.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We're gonna
so,
talk about Nintendo Direct next week.
So we'll see you guys then.
I can talk about my button cutters reveal reaction.
Oh yeah, yeah.